Bang.
Boom.
Pew.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages and of planet Earth and places unknown, it is time for episode 7 of season 5 of the House Divided podcast. We have ourselves a show. It's not going to be as much of a monumental undertaking as last week's, but with that being said, let's get into it. First off, foremost, yes, bye weeks are awful.
Yeah, they kind of suck as a fan. Yeah, it's not a good time. I mean, both of our college teams are off this week. The fuck are we gonna do on Saturday? Watch? I don't know.
Maction.
Liberty.
Give me liberty or give me death. But before we get into this show, there is a reason we are a day late, but not a dollar short on this podcast.
Yes. Well, sort of.
Yesterday,
there's a few reasons.
well, one, we're just gonna go with one.
I'll explain the other.
Yesterday was Jordan's birthday, so he was indisposed for podcasting yesterday.
Well, you see, there wasn't even any alcohol involved, which is sad and a lot of things. But
it's a lot of things.
I was up very early yesterday for shitty reasons and went out to dinner afterwards. Came back home. I was fucking spent. And so I pulled up a message from Austin. He's like, "Oh, the podcast graphics aren't in the folder." And I was literally like trying to upload them and fell asleep in the process. So that tells you how tired I was yesterday.
It is what it is.
But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we've been doing very good, and I think a birthday is a good excuse to put it off a day, even though that wasn't my intention. But you know, it is. You know what they say? It is what it is.
I was gonna say something, but I took a drink of my adult beverage there first. We are 7 weeks into this season, and this is the first time we've missed a day, which has got to be has been a day late on schedule. So it's got to be some form of record for us. Let's be honest.
Oh, we've missed multiple days in the past. We planned a podcast for Thursday and done it on Saturday.
Yeah. So
we've started podcasts at like 10:30 p.m.
I know the fact that we were able, like, just the fact that we're even able to get live before 10 p.m. anymore is great. So with that being said, unless I don't really have much more to add to this intro, so let's get into Stupid People Say Stupid Things, because it is gonna be a segment. Could be the longest segment of the show.
I had to limit myself. I limited myself to 3.
I think I have like 3 or 4.
I could have had the amount of stupid this week might be a record. Like, I don't even know how the internet is getting progressively stupider
as this season goes on.
Week. In not even just as the season, well, as our podcast season goes on, yes, but like every single sports fan base on the internet just gets dumber and dumber every week, and I don't get it, man.
For those of you who are watching on audio, this is my hand is going down as if it is falling off a cliff right about now.
The internet has fallen off a cliff.
So I have an honorable mention, and then
oh no,
uno dos. So I have 3. This honorable mention is probably the first time in Stupid People Say Stupid Thing history that something of this nature has happened. Because this is not a stupid person who said this. This is just a tweet that aged so horrifically terribly.
Oh no.
That it made this segment as an honorable mention. Because I feel like it had to. And to make this worse for the tweeter, it was me.
Oh no. Is this the first?
Yeah, I believe so. This isn't not necessarily the worst, the stupidest thing that has ever been tweeted. But while I was watching the Michigan-Nebraska game, the refs threw a flag, and it was like,
there's a shock.
Yeah, this is even before all of that stupidity happened. This is why this tweet made this segment. This is like the first drive of the game, second drive of the game, like false start flag is thrown or a too many men on the field, something stupid. And I tweeted.
I don't think there was a too many men on the field penalty in that game. Not that I remember.
It may have been a false start or an offsides then. Yeah. I tweeted, "Hey refs, I'm not watching this game to see flags thrown. I'm watching this game to see something cool or a pass rush." the ensuing drive, we saw the refs so fucking much.
That drive is painful. Like, if you remember, when that was over, Michigan made it into the end zone twice.
And neither of them counted.
And neither of them counted. And rightfully so. I mean, I'm not saying they were bad calls. They didn't get into the end zone either time. But when that drive was over with all the penalties and the reviews, I had tweeted when Michigan scored the second would-be touchdown that touchdown Michigan, thank God that drive's over. I don't even care.
And then it wasn't, though.
Second, he's like, you tweeted me, and you're like, are you sure about that? And I'm just like, literally just let it end. We settled for a field goal. I didn't even care. I just like, this drive has bad written all over it. I want nothing to do with it. Let it end. I don't care if we turn the ball over on downs. Let this drive end.
Just don't let this result in a Nebraska score.
That drive was not good for anybody.
No. And then, so...
Especially the fans watching. I mean, we had like 2 5-minute reviews.
Fuck.
Like, get it together, refs.
So, there was that original tweet. That original tweet was just so rough because for pretty much the rest of the game, I did not see anything cool or really a pass rush. I just saw the refs.
Nope.
And we'll talk about that game in a little bit. So there's our honorable mention. It makes the segment as an honorable mention. It does not make the actual segment itself.
Lightning are coming back, man.
Don't tease me.
4-3. Stammer just scored.
Oh, captain, my first stupid people say stupid things comes from a man who might very well just be trying to win stupid people say stupid things. Just in sheer number of times stupid person saying stupid thing of the year. Just in sheer number of times he's on this fucking segment. You all know him.
Oh, no.
You all know who I'm talking about. You all think he's stupid. Mr. Large Elephants on Twitter, Horace.
Gotta love him, man.
And this isn't just... He did not make this segment because he said some stupid things after Alabama lost.
Because he says stupid things after everything.
After anything. I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, God.
5, 6, 7, 8 tweets. 8 different tweets here about the Alabama game that all end with something along the lines of, "This game don't count."
Yeah, fitting.
I'm gonna read one. I'm gonna read one of you. I'm gonna read a couple actually.
All right.
They ain't the realtor.
Nothing I hear here is gonna surprise me.
They ain't the realtor, and we had stoves stole from us. But don't nobody call the cat a caroler. It's grape spaghetti.
Dude, there are about 5 different things there that I want to put on a t-shirt.
Let's go to a different one. Game ain't real. Like in Tetris games, that was faked like it with the colors and blocks, then football. Footballs. Hashtag Roll Tide.
That's the most sense Horace has ever made.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know what it means, but I mean, colorful blocks. I know that's Tetris.
Best team was us and non-feats, but best couches had be Saban, and Brutus was player of the year. We came back to 1th cause Saturday's games ain't counted. Hashtag Roll Tide.
So if Saturday's games ain't counted, then just no game that was played, except the Friday night games and the Thursday night games and the rare Tuesday night games for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So in other words, whoever beat Appalachian State this week by a billion, they're like number 1 in the country right now.
Yeah. My next stupid person saying a stupid thing comes from the NFL. Comes from the Cowboys Giants, maybe? I think it's who they played game. I believe so.
That sounds right.
There is so I'm gonna give some background story to this tweet.
That was it, because Daniel Jones is dead.
I'm gonna give some background to this story real quick. So Zeke Elliott bruised himself on a pylon, falling on it awkwardly. Or knocked the wind out of him, something. And then Zeke Elliott tweeted, later tweeted after the game, Zeke 0, pylons 1.
Don't fuck with the pylons, man.
Now, in comes this stupid person who uses his real name on Twitter, so he's automatically probably dumb. I'm not going to say his full name. His first name is just Dustin.
Of course.
Dustin tweets.
Sounds like a very dumb white man.
Dustin tweets, what the hell are those things, or well, it's WTH, are those things doing out there? The NFL needs to get involved and get those and the sticks moved before someone gets seriously injured and ruins a season.
He's not, I mean, he's wrong. Don't get me wrong here. But it is a miracle that we don't see more injuries of people running into the sticks and the chain.
I've done it before. It's not. Yeah.
You would think that would happen more often.
I have done it before.
The pylons, though, come on.
Yeah. And finally,
Weigh like 2 pounds, if that.
Right. My final one is a series of tweets from a man who on Twitter also goes by his full name.
Why are people dumb?
Jordan was involved with this one and has seen this one.
This one, yes.
His name is Rashawn. We're just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna say his last name. On a complete, I don't even know how this actually made its way to my timeline, but a tweet by University of Cincinnati Barstool account made it onto my timeline. And then this was the first tweet I saw by Rashawn, by one Mr. Rashawn. These big schools are squirming. Can't stand to see the Bearcats above their elite school. Quite enjoyable. I replied to him just because I apparently wanted to go into self-hate mode that day. Explain to me how any big school is squirming. He replies back, your comment consistently keeps backing up this statement, and then just retweets the screenshots his statement at me. Thank you.
Even his statement.
After doing a small bit of research, because I had felt I had seen that somewhere, and I did. That statement was tweeted by some talking head in the Cincinnati area that Mr. Rashawn happens to like. Mr. Rashawn is also an Arkansas Razorbacks fan, though.
Yeah, I don't know why he's sticking up for Cincinnati so hard.
And I eventually ended up calling him a biased pylon, and he just literally kept parroting that statement at me. And then finally, you're a self-righteous douche. You didn't want to have a conversation.
Can't have a conversation when it's like the guy who I could have put in this segment, by the way. After a whole bunch of NFL kickers were missing kicks this last weekend, and Ninja made a comment on it, and I was trolling through the replies to see the dumb, and somebody was like, because this has happened before, and Pat McAfee called him out.
Yep.
And somebody posted this thing that was like, what's going on here? And the guy goes, he's like, well, that was a statement. Ninja was provoked, man. And I'm like, no. Pat, Ninja said something first, and then Pat replied to his stupidity. And he just continued to copy and paste the same comment of, I don't remember the whole thing, but it was Ninja's initial statement of, "I don't know how kickers just miss, man. What a stupid reply," or something like that.
Yeah,
And
the
he did that 3 different times. And it's just like, and I'm surprised that guy wasn't like, "You just didn't want to have a conversation." It's like it's the same sentiment.
Yeah, Ninja. If it wasn't for this individual, Ninja would have definitely made it onto this segment on my part because I just flat out think the man needs to stay away from tweeting about sports. It's been proven on repeat. Not even just the thing about kickers. He's done it various other times that he has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And
just remember for those out there that whenever Ninja claims to be a Lions fan, we do not claim him. Real Lions fans do not claim Ninja.
He claims he chooses a different favorite team every fucking week.
I've seen him in a Packers jersey, so if he claims to be a Lions fan, he would never touch that thing.
Yeah. That's my segment of Stupid People Say Stupid Things. Jordan, take us away.
All right, so we'll get to the really good one later.
Also, I didn't get to press this button at all. Everybody who I just talked about, other than myself, every non-honorable mention that I just talked about, had to back myself out of a corner there, is a
loser.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, first one comes from the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight that happened this last week.
I don't know if I'm gonna have enough beer for this.
Yeah, we will cover later. We'll get into it with the news. This is on Barstool Sports today. They're not the stupid people, surprisingly, but
what?
Right. They tweeted the video after Tyson Fury knocked out Deontay Wilder
loser
again. That of Tyson going over to his corner and trying to talk to Deontay, and Deontay just goes, "I don't respect you." Oh, Jesus Christ, dude! We'll get into that in a second. Somebody replies and says Fury was on the mat for 11 seconds. Wilder won. Now, I am a rather casual boxing fan. If it's not one of these big fights, I really don't care. But even I know that a 10 count is not 10 seconds.
No.
So to claim that he was on the mat for 11 seconds means literally nothing.
It's irrelevant.
Mr. The Redacted 1, you are dumb. We move on.
He just had to have lost money on that fight. That's the only way that
That's what somebody replied and says, "Tell me you lost your rent money without telling me you lost your rent money."
Oh my.
All right, moving on. Another subject that we're going to get into later is the Michigan and Nebraska game. In reply, this is off of some weird Aiden Hutchinson, Will Compton beef of all things. I don't know what's going on with that. That's not relevant. I don't know. But in reply to Aiden Hutchinson, Mr. Mick Atchity, I don't know what that means, replies to Aiden Hutchinson and then tags him as well for whatever fucking reason and says Aiden Hutchinson's stock went down when he got owned by a true 3 big tackles against our line. Have fun in Detroit. So he's saying that Aiden Hutchinson got completely owned and had a bad game against Nebraska. There's a problem with that. Aiden Hutchinson, according to Pro Football Focus, was the Defensive Player of the Week in college football. So, how someone's stock goes down when they come out with good PFF grade, I don't know. Miss Mick H.E., use the dumb. And finally, this is a first in Stupid People Saying Stupid Things history.
We've had 2 firsts.
2 firsts in one show. This is so massively dumb that I can't pin it on one person. I can't pin it on 10 people. About 100. About 100 people are getting named in this one. Well, not named, but just know
blanketed.
100 people. Yes.
To those 100
NASCAR.
people, I raise my beer to you because you are all
loser.
Because I know about this. I'll let Jordan finish though.
The NASCAR Twitter account, and I'm sure other accounts, this weekend after the roller race, they were doing some tests in the next gen car, debuts next year. Very excited about that. And they post a video simply titled, "The number 23 goes for a spin." Now, for those unfamiliar with NASCAR, the number 23 is usually driven by Bubba Wallace, the only black driver in NASCAR, well, in the Cup Series currently.
Yes.
And he is hated by people that describe themselves as patriots and real Americans, and what me and Austin would like to more than likely call, for the majority of them, racists.
Having lived in the area where most of those people come from, yes.
So, 23 car goes for a spin, and the comments are filled with, "Bubba's got no talent, blah, 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 par for the course." I mean, I'm literally talking about 100 people that are just shitting all over Bubba Wallace, because that's all they want to do. And NASCAR Twitter baited the fuck out of them, because Bubba Wallace wasn't even driving the car. It was his car owner and fellow driver Denny Hamlin who was driving the car. Only won 3 Daytona 500s, no big deal.
He just won a race or two.
Yeah, unfortunately never a championship for Denny. Maybe that changes this year. But, yeah, about 100 people. And I think NASCAR literally baited them on purpose. Because they didn't tag Bubba Wallace. They didn't tag anybody. It just says, "The 23 goes for a spin." And it was Denny Hamlin behind the wheel of that car. And there was one guy in particular that said something hateful about Bubba and then was corrected, and somebody says that was Denny Hamlin driving. And he said, "Oh, it's all right then."
Loser.
So if the black driver spins, it's fine. But if anybody else spins, whatever, it happens. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't see a problem there, dude?
Oh, no, he doesn't. Why would he?
Of course he doesn't. And I would go back and find it, but I'd have to
I pressed
scroll
the
through
button.
over 100.
I pressed the
Over
button.
100. What button did you press?
Oh, all I did was close Twitch chat and college football picks, NFL picks, podcast notes.
Oops.
We're still live. We are still here in live this time.
Well, that's
We don't have to restart this entire show.
But yeah, over 100 people. Get that? I mean, and that's probably grown since. Fucking just hating on Bubba Wallace, man. Only thing I had to hate on about that video, man, I don't give a shit about the whole number placement for NASCAR this year. For next year, they moved them up closer to the front wheel. I will say on that 23 car, though, and I don't think they're going to keep this heading into next season, that number's way too small. Fucking sucks. I was always kind of like, you can move the number, don't make it smaller. And I hope they don't stick with that. At least for the 23 team. There's been plenty of other teams that haven't changed the size of the number.
As a not NASCAR person, I can't really say much about anything.
Yeah, I mean, the number placement is one thing. Initially they were moving it to the rear tire was the idea, and that looked putrid. But moving it to the front is better, and if that's what sponsors want, then I mean, hey, what am I to say? I'm not making NASCAR as much money as the sponsors are.
Right.
But that is my stupid people saying stupid things.
Well, that means it is time for, make sure I hit the right button here, the news. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Starting off with a big one, eh?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I almost want to wrap around and end with this.
Okay.
So let's start with
Start with Fury Wilder.
Yeah, go ahead and take this one. Go ahead and take the next two.
Yes, that's right, because NASCAR's next.
Yeah.
Don't know if you heard. There's a big fight this weekend for the World Heavyweight Championship. And probably, now again, as I said in Stupid People Saying Stupid Things, I am a casual boxing fan. Unless it's a big deal like this, I generally don't pay much of attention. Like, I don't watch the boxing matches on TV usually. Could really care less for some undercard stuff.
I can't do boxing undercard. It's so bad at times.
It's really bad. That
well, my officially my NHL parlay is dead. The Senators have just beaten the Maple Leafs, by the way. And the Sabres are up 5-1.
God damn it.
I
didn't think it was going to be the Sabres. I thought it was going to be the Jets. Oh, no, that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. You know, that did happen.
Yep.
I hate everything. Continue, though. I wanted to go check that.
So, again, as a casual boxing fan, I don't know if I can speak as highly on this as some other people. Probably one of the best fights I've seen.
And yeah, the Blue Jackets are up 7-2. I had no money on that game, but yeah, that's happening also.
Early on, for rounds 1 and 2, not much going on, feeling each other out. And then I think it was about rounds 3 and 4 where Deontay Wilder scored a knockdown, and you're just like, whoa. Does he have a shot here? Because he was the underdog coming in, naturally, after he lost the last time these two fought. And both guys ended up scoring 2 knockdowns before round number 11, when Tyson Fury got Deontay Wilder back up against the ropes. Big right hand put him to sleep. For real this time, no TKO. He was donezo.
Yeah.
I mean, it was phenomenal. I loved every second of it. I am a big Tyson Fury guy for multiple reasons. He had, of course, his tiny little stint with WWE that I enjoyed. He's 1-0 in his WWE career. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, he beat Braun Strowman at some stupid Saudi Arabia show a couple years back.
Kind of like the one that happened yesterday or tonight.
Is that happening tonight? I thought it happens next week.
I don't know.
The 21st.
Oh, so next week then.
Yep, next Thursday. But yeah, but also just the stuff that dude's been through. You know, he won a title a few years back after defeating Klitschko, I think is what it was, and literally had the title stripped of him within 7 days because of some stupid contract dispute, and because he didn't go into negotiations for his next fight within 7 days of his last one.
Yeah.
Because apparently there was some clause in the contract where he had to start negotiations with Klitschko for a rematch in 7 days. And then the dude fell off the rails, addiction, depression, ballooned up to 400 pounds. And to see this dude come back, and he's still undefeated. He has not lost a fight. He has the one draw in the first fight with Wilder. But this guy has one of, I think, the more impressive comeback stories in all of sports. And so for me, I just can't help but root against the guy. He's got his issues, but it's just awesome to see. That being said, we don't need a fourth fight. Do not need a fourth fight. At least not for a little while.
Yeah,
Tyson Fury needs to go fight somebody else. If Wilder goes out and beats like an Anthony Joshua, something like that, he can get back to the title picture, but not for a couple of years. We don't need another one. I don't think we need another one at all. Arguably, Fury should be 3-0 against Wilder. Instead, he's 2-0-1. But don't need it right now. Don't need it. I also saw somebody on Twitter say, because a lot of people share that sentiment, that we don't need a fourth fight. You know, it's indisputable right now who's better.
Yeah.
And somebody replied like, you say that, but you know you'd watch if a fourth fight happened. And I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch this one just because I had to be up early for work.
I mean, I did too, but you know.
Yeah. I had to be up.
But
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great fight. Not a big fan of the video that came out today that I think Tyson Fury posted first of him going to the corner and, you know, literally just asking Deontay to show him a little respect. And you can hear Deontay say, "I don't respect you." I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Come on. Boxing is a sport more so than others because you are literally in there, you know, risking your lives, risking your health and everything when you step into the ring. And like, if you don't respect your opponent, like, what are you even doing in boxing?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And they showed respect after, I think, both of the other fights. It's like that I don't understand. And now I've heard some people say that Deontay's probably concussed. Don't hold this against him. Dude hasn't said anything in 4 days.
Yeah.
Hasn't tweeted anything since right before that fight. So I don't know.
This
he could have shot this in the butt and he hasn't. So
I even threw in our notes here that this should be the end of whatever you want to call this little feud or whatever. But
it has to be. Unless Deontay goes and puts himself back in title contention, Fury's got to go fight some other dudes, give some other dudes a shot.
But I think, unfortunately, Deontay Wilder is just going to refuse to let this die. And if the whatever they call themselves anymore, the WBC or whatever they call themselves anymore, continues
that was the title that they were fighting for. But there's a few of them.
Continues to try and keep letting this go, it's just gonna get worse and worse. Because it was a good fight. It's been a good, honestly, probably the best trilogy in all of combat sports.
Mm-hmm. And I think and boxing needed this, man. It really, really did. With all the nonsense that has gone on outside of guys like these, real boxers for the last few years, fucking the Paul brothers, Conor McGregor, guys that have no business being in a boxing ring. Like, boxing needed a trilogy like this to keep people interested, the casual people like me, and things like this make me want to pay attention to it more.
It's just all of the other. Why I love UFC fight or MMA so much, UFC so much. They don't do.
Yeah, I gotta get back into that too.
Dana White doesn't do, surprisingly, any of just like the stupid. Oh, let's get a YouTuber in here and see if he does a thing.
I mean, CM Punk did have 2 UFC fights. Those didn't go well at all.
Brock Lesnar did too. That's a bit different, I think.
Brock Lesnar was actually good.
Yeah,
and had training for combat. CM Punk did not. He had well, okay, so he had 5 years ish of training from the time that he had left WWE in 2014 to his first fight, whenever that happened. He had training, but you put 5 years of training up against fucking guys that have been training for 15, 20 years,
Well, yeah.
it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it showed. CM Punk was not meant to be in a UFC ring. Brock Lesnar won championships. Like he was phenomenal.
Herschel Walker went into the UFC and wasn't terrible. He never won a championship because he got into the UFC at 40 some years old.
I mean, yeah.
Herschel Walker's just a complete different athlete, but still, like, Dana White just doesn't let fucking some idiot, which is all the Paul brothers are, let's be honest, just say, oh, hey, I want to go fight this guy and call it a UFC fight. That's why I like UFC so much.
UFC's great, and the thing is, it's just, and that's why I say that this stuff like this, feuds like this with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are so huge for boxing because it's real, man. It's not this fake thing where you question the result after every time of like, well, dude was, paid off to lose these Paul brothers. They got fucking millions, billions of dollars, whatever they got. Just buy the people off.
Yeah.
And, you got guys potentially diving in fights with the Paul brothers. It's like, come on.
Alrighty.
We'll move on.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and take some NASCAR, or you want me to talk F1 real quick?
I'll go into this NASCAR, but wrapping up the boxing stuff real quick. Phenomenal fight. I'll probably watch it fucking again and again and again. It was just phenomenal.
It was great. It was worth it.
Just like I love. I'll rewatch the first two fights as well. All right, moving on to the NASCAR playoff race at the Roval, Charlotte Roval. And as much as I do hate the Roval, I can't help but admit at this point that it has produced some entertaining races. It really has.
They paint their curbs. They look like turtles.
They did paint their curbs as turtles for this race because NASCAR can't get it through their heads. Those are called sausage curbs and not turtles. But I digress.
I'd even be fine if they just called them curbs.
For real. Wild race. So much to talk about. We'll start with eventual race winner Kyle Larson, who had to change an alternator belt mid-race. He was losing power in his car, and they came in during a caution, changed it up. Just impressive from the crew there for the 5 team. And the big story from the Roval this weekend was the nonsense with Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott. My God. So, full transparency, I am a Chase Elliott fan. I don't understand why Kevin Harvick has beef with Chase Elliott to begin with, because it seemed like Chase got the worst end of their encounter the first time. So I really don't know why Kevin's so pissed. Other than after that first run in, Chase kind of parked himself when he had a bad day. I think in Bristol was running pretty slow and did kind of get in the way of Harvick, who was running second to Chase's teammate Kyle Larson, and Chase kind of parked it in front of him. And I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, the dude screwed you the first race, cut your tire, and you're trying to help your teammate as well. And this ain't F1. There ain't no blue flags. You can get away with that stuff. So, Kevin Harvick did call it chicken shit. We've seen it 5+ times this season alone by different teams. So it's a strategy. It's allowed, and it probably always will be. I don't ever foresee NASCAR implementing a blue flag rule, because
as an F1 fan, I don't like it, but
I don't necessarily care for blue flags, to be honest. But then again, I am more of a NASCAR guy. But so we move on to the Roval. Chase Elliott right in front of Kevin Harvick. I don't remember what turn. Right before they kind of got onto the oval there. The oval part of the Roval track. I don't remember what turn number. But Kevin Harvick just flat out booted Chase Elliott. Flat out booted him. And and put him in the outside wall.
Classy.
Broke the track bar. Lord knows the rear end of that car was all fucking out of whack. And 9 Crew did their best to get that car back up and running. Was a little bit of controversy with the caution that was brought out by the bumper cover, the piece of sheet metal in the back of the car of the 9 of Chase Elliott flying off.
Oh.
And bringing out the yellow.
Wow.
I've seen some people say, well, it should have been black flagged. On an oval, I'd agree with you. On a road course, no. Because NASCAR treats road courses differently than others. If there's a piece of debris or there's something going on, an accident, whatever, on a road course, they'll do a local caution. They'll let the race go on.
Which is real. It's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing in all levels of motorsport. But on an oval, they'll flag it for anything. So the bumper cover flies off, causes a caution, and that did help Chase Elliott because they came in, repaired the car a little bit better now that they weren't on that caution clock, and got him back in the race. We fast forward to, Lord knows, I don't know, 30, 20 laps to go, something like that. 9 Crew's got that car back in contention. I say contention. I mean more so contention for advancing to the next round of the playoffs because this was the cutoff race where we cut it down to 8 drivers. And Chase Elliott's getting back up in there, and he is right behind the 4 of Kevin Harvick. NBC cameras flock to him. They're zooming in on it. Coming into turn number 1. It's unfortunately no longer called the Tums Heartburn turn. I think it was sponsored by Jegs this weekend or something.
Ew, that's honestly probably worse.
Dude, hey, president of the Tums Heartburn turn fan club over here. But Chase Elliott right behind the 4. And I believe I'm going to try and use the same exact words that I did when I first messaged you about this. Kevin Harvick shit his pants when he saw that big old Napa logo in his rearview mirror. Was just staring at his rearview mirror and missed turn 1 and piled it into the corner.
Oops.
He can say he locked up the brakes. Well, you probably did, but that's because you probably braked about 20 feet too late.
Hey, I got something that's very fitting for this.
Problems.
Okay, go ahead.
What was that?
You'll have to go back and watch or listen to the audio.
But it's just hilarious. And Kevin Harvick misses the playoffs because of it. That car was beyond repair. Had to get out. Wouldn't move. Just hilarious. Problems. And that's what I like to call karma. Good for Kyle Larson. I think he's won 7 races on the year now. Fucking always knew he was a talented driver. Circumstances behind him getting a Hendrick Motorsports are a bit shitty. Getting fired and all that for being a shitty human to get into the ride that he's in now. But he's really making the most of it. It is fun to watch him drive. Dude can win in any car you put him in. I mean, he's one of the most talented racers out there, so it's really hard to hate on him. As a driver, as a human, you can say what you want, but Kyle Larson has already advanced to. Well, no, he hasn't advanced to the next round of the playoffs. We have the round of 8 coming up now. Let me bring up the schedule real quick. Texas Motor Speedway this weekend, followed by Kansas. That sounds like a snooze fest. And then the final elimination race before the championship race in Phoenix at Martinsville on October 31st, Halloween. And then that stupid championship race at Phoenix. We need to start moving that thing around.
God, the NASCAR season goes so long.
It does.
As an F1 fan, I know the irony of saying that.
November 7th. Yeah.
As an F1 fan, I know there's some irony in me saying how long the F1 season or the
because their season goes longer this year than it has in the past, doesn't it? Doesn't it go to like December?
It always goes to December. Like in a normal year, it always goes to about December. That first weekend of December, usually.
This final bit of the F1 season is gonna fucking suck.
It just never seems like it because or at least the past 4 years, it hasn't seemed like it because the championship's been wrapped up by now.
Yeah, and it hasn't, and that's a perfect transition into F1 for you.
Yeah, we just talked about a road course. Speaking of a sport that only drives road courses.
A real road course, might I add.
Yeah. Moving over to F1 and Turkey. Valtteri Bottas won a very, very wet Turkish Grand Prix. Quick note on Valtteri before I get into the rest of the podium. He's going to be moving to, I believe, Alpha, right? Or no?
Correct.
It is Alpha Romeo?
Yep.
Okay. He's going to be moving.
Still Alpha at that point, who knows? But
yeah, if it's still Alpha at that point, he's going to be moving down to Alfa Romeo for next year. He's been
the Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen.
He's been having a solid end of his. Let's call it what it is. He's getting ready to transition into retirement.
I mean, yes and no.
He's gonna have a couple years at Alpha or whatever they are, but.
And I mean, I could see him going elsewhere. I mean, how old is Valtteri?
Go ahead and Google that real quick.
I'm looking it up right now.
He's had a phenomenal final season here at Mercedes. The rest of the podium is
32 years old, by the way, for Bottas. So
okay.
He could easily.
Yeah,
he could easily. I mean, continue driving at Alpha or go somewhere else. I don't think he's anywhere near retirement unless that's what he wants to do.
It's hard to say because at times with Mercedes, there's all the stupidity that has happened with Mercedes the past couple years with him.
Valtteri, it's James.
That it could just seem like he just doesn't want to race anymore. But I digress.
I think that'll be different. I think he'll probably be reinvigorated when he goes to Alpha because he's the number one guy there.
Yeah.
And I like Giovinazzi, but Bottas is
better. Yeah. Antonio Giovinazzi is. He's
all right.
He's solid.
Solid.
Yeah.
And Alpha's gotten progressively better.
Solid young guy. And Alpha's better than Haas right now.
Everyone's better than Haas, even Williams.
I mean, Haas doesn't have any points on the year yet.
Karma for Mazepin and the Russian dollar.
Yeah. Moving on though, continuing. Max finished second. Max Verstappen, and Sergio Perez finished third. Some very, I don't want to say un-Mercedes. I mean, un-Mercedes like. They botched Lewis Hamilton's strategy, and that led to a 5th place finish for him. Max takes a 6-point lead in the standings going into Circuit of the Americas, the U.S. Grand Prix. I love it. This is going to be one of the first times in a while it seems like this Grand Prix is going to be relevant.
Yeah, usually it's all wrapped up right now. Lewis is leading by like 100 points.
I mean, it was relevant a couple years ago when Kimi won just because Lewis needed to win. But he finished second.
Yeah, to wrap up the title.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't to clinch the title, he needed to win, but I mean, he still was going to win it because he won it the next race down at
And then the next race, I think he needed to finish like fucking literally inside the top 10.
Yeah, he needed a point.
Right.
The U.S. Grand Prix, just to finish on this, the U.S. Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas will take place on the 24th of October. So next Sunday will be the race day. Continue.
Expand on the Lewis and Mercedes strategy point. This is a race I watched.
I went and watched it back after the fact.
I won't say that Mercedes botched Lewis's strategy at first. If Lewis comes in for tires when they first asked him to, then I think he's fine. I think he probably still has a championship lead. He probably passes Perez and gets a podium.
I would agree with that.
He did not, and to be fair to Lewis, he was running decently well at the time, but he was trying to run a race on one set of intermediate tires, which is something Pierre Gasly did, by the way, and finished 10th. So that's impressive on its own.
Gasly's not a pushover of a driver at times.
No, he really is. He shows flashes of fucking brilliance. So if Lewis
and then flashes of massive ass.
Yeah, flashes of torpedo. Oh no, sorry, that's Kvyat.
Continue.
But yeah, no. It was botched by Lewis. It was botched by Mercedes. Late in the race. I don't think Lewis knew when he was called in the second time that he was going to lose 2 spots, and he didn't agree with the decision. But if he just comes in the first time, wouldn't have mattered, because then he's on par with everybody else.
Yeah, it's
Lewis Hamilton. You put him on even tires with everybody else in the field, he's probably going to outdrive almost everybody.
Yeah, it was just such a weird scenario all around.
Very, very strange.
Lewis botched it at first because I get it. He was running great. And then Mercedes, like, you got to leave him out at that point because...
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
You see the tires when they came off. They're in rough shape for inters, man. I don't know.
They were
essentially slicks.
It's so hard to say.
But, yeah, no. Max Verstappen takes a 6-point championship lead heading into the race in Austin, Texas. Wow.
It's going to be fun. We could have a shootout down in Texas.
Fitting. And we're gonna have a shootout, I think, hopefully up until that final race. If this championship race comes down to Abu Dhabi, holy shit,
it'd be exciting.
Like that, this season already has been. I've been more invested in this F1 season than most in the past. Most of the time, you have an F1 championship that's already settled by now. So the fact that we
or unofficial, at least unofficially settled,
right? But I mean, this has just been so fun to watch. Especially, I am a Red Bull guy, mainly a Daniel Ricciardo guy, but Red Bull and Max Verstappen do come slightly second. Just a really fun championship race that we have coming down here towards the end of the season. Hopefully,
at least in the driver standings, it looks like as long as Mercedes doesn't fuck, they're gonna.
Yeah. But I mean, even just anybody winning the drivers' championship over Lewis Hamilton, it would be just a huge deal. And just shootout too. To have Max on that level now, well, watch out. And if Red Bull continues to get better, and the new regulations that are coming don't mess them up, and I mean that's what the regulations are supposed to do. They're supposed to make it more of an even playing field. And so we'll see, but Max is coming into his own. Max is on that level right now, and this is going to be a fun championship race to the very end.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much else to say on it unless you do.
Good for Valtteri, man. Probably his final win at Mercedes. Who knows if he pulls another one in there? Probably not, because Mercedes is gonna put Lewis ahead of him any chance they get. So because they're gonna need every point they get in that race. So I don't know.
He's had a good final year at Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean his first win on the season, but great for him. 9th win of his career. Valtteri's no slouch. And if it wasn't for Lewis Hamilton being his teammate, he would have won a lot more.
Yeah. Moving on to what is probably the most important news of the week, or at least in my opinion it is. J.R. Smith. Yes. That J.R. Smith who went around the amazing, lovely, great, glorious, amazing city of Cleveland without a shirt the entire summer of 2016. Played in his first college golf tournament for North Carolina A&T or wherever the hell he's going.
That sounds about right, yes.
Sadly, his shirt stayed on the entire tournament.
Well, yes. I mean, he did get stung by some bees. But...
he did get stung by a lot of bees. His tournament scorings were not great. I believe he placed second to last with a 79 and a 81.
Can you blame name the guy?
He finished 81st out of 84. It is North Carolina A&T. He is 36 years old, making his college golf debut. He's not a slouch on a golf course. But again, finished 81st out of 84, 79 and a. Excuse me. Can I find I think it was like an 83, 82, 83, 84, somewhere in there.
It was an 80 something. I don't.
Yeah. And just good for him. He's living his best life. I like J.R. Smith. He's a fun guy. He's a fun personality, and he's good to have in sports in general.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm indifferent on J.R. Smith. Obviously, I'm not a Cavs fan or anything like that. Cavs fan, Knicks fan, wherever the hell he's played. But
Lakers. I'm more of just becoming a J.R. Smith fan. Like at this point, just because of the personality.
I was gonna say, all things considered, I mean, J.R. Smith seems to be a good dude. I mean, of course, there's the goof in the NBA Finals, and you have that classic image of LeBron James.
That hurts me a little bit, but that hurts me a bit. But I still love J.R. Smith.
I mean, just a good guy.
I like athletes, and part of the reason why I like J.R. Smith so much is I like athletes that have personality. It's my biggest thing with
rare to find.
And I am extremely, extremely indifferent to Tom Brady. My biggest thing against him is he's a phenomenal football player, but he's just the most boring person in the world.
Have you listened to Matthew Stafford in press conferences throughout his career?
No. I'm assuming though, just off of looking at him.
You would change that statement.
I was about to say, I'm assuming just looking at him, he's probably not much better.
Easy, always worse. He's a robot, dude.
Like, I like athletes that have personality. Yeah, that's why I like J.R. Smith. It's good for him. He's finding ways to just have a good time, live his life, do it up,
and
brother.
I mean, credit to him for going back to college after all these years, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome for him.
And finally,
finally the shitty news.
Moving to, oh my gosh, Jordan, you want to take this or you want me to lead this?
I'll lead us off here. So,
Thank you. There's so much to unpack here, and I have a lot of opinions about this.
So, obviously, the biggest news in sports this week is the controversy and the resignation of Las Vegas Raiders coach Jon Gruden, who was named and outed in the email scandal with the Washington football team,
among others.
All that's gone on with that. Yeah, they've got Adam Schefter, and now people are questioning Adam Schefter's credibility. I mean, today the Washington football team tried to get some good PR and announced they're retiring Sean Taylor's number out of fucking nowhere 3 days before they planned to do it, which backfired into their faces because it's like, how does Sean Taylor not deserve more than 3 days notice to retire his number? The entire situation with that is just a mess.
First off, real quick, I want to say Sean Taylor, a great, and the Washington football team are stooping to this. This is, I have a soundbite that I was gonna wait for till we actually got into Gruden, but I'm gonna just let this soundbite take it.
This dude is the epitome of a disgrace.
The Washington football team is an epitome of disgrace. Stephen A. Smith said it perfectly for me.
I cannot believe. I was astounded to hear this morning that Sean Taylor's number hadn't been retired already.
Yeah, also yes, but
I couldn't believe it. And now they're using this just to get some good press. And now and we'll see when the presentation with all this comes around on Sunday against the Chiefs, might I add. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? I I understand that number retirement ceremonies should take some time to put together.
Yeah.
And most of them are announced before the season that they're happening in even starts.
Also, yes.
Like the Red Wings a few years ago retired the number of Red Kelly, who played eons ago and has since passed away. And they gave us notice like 6 months in advance. And you're talking one of the best players in your franchise's history, and Sean Taylor.
One of the best players in the game.
An absolute legend that you know, it's criminal that, you know, that he's not with us anymore, you know? And you're putting his name in there in the midst of all this stuff. If this is just a PR stunt, then I mean, I already don't think highly of the Washington football team and Dan Snyder, but it's just a new low.
Dan Snyder is a
loser.
Always will be. Always will be. And I mean, that team, you know, you can change the name of that team, whatever. It took way too long to do it, and you know, it doesn't matter. With Dan Snyder at the head of that thing, they're going to continue to just be losers. Maybe not on the football field. Maybe Ron Rivera to put together a team, but the fact when it's not kosher up at the top,
yeah,
it can't go well.
So
anyway,
moving back over to Gruden for a second. Jon Gruden was 22-31 in 3 1/4 seasons. With this current stint of the Raiders, he never made the playoffs. Tampa also removed Jon Gruden from their Ring of Honor. Also, Jon Gruden happens to be
This dude is the epitome of a disgrace.
Yeah.
Disgrace. Just a disgrace. And a
loser.
A loser. Oh my God.
So much to go through here. So
I have so many strong opinions on this. Being a man of minority descent, I have a lot to say. So,
of the things that the opinions that nobody should have of anybody throughout any facet of life that were exposed in these emails, you got the racism, you got the sexism, you got the transphobia, you got the misogyny, you got everything.
The homophobia, everything.
Everything we're trying to move past.
Calling out Jeff Fisher, who I thought was kind of a stand-up guy.
And Jeff Fisher responded to that.
Did he? I didn't know that.
I don't know if you saw that, but he said, we drafted a SEC Defensive Player of the Year simply based on his talent. It had nothing to do with Roger Goodell paying us off.
Like, yeah, I was saying.
He responded to it. He came out and said it. I think Jeff Fisher, I mean, you can say what you want about him being a shitty coach. He really is. But he came out and he addressed it, and I believe him.
I've never thought Jeff Fisher was a great coach, but just as a human, he doesn't seem like
I don't think I have anything bad to say about Jeff Fisher as a human.
Yeah, he's
football coach. He stinks, but
wasn't a great football coach, and
of course,
Michael Sam just didn't pan out. He didn't transition well.
No,
phenomenal player at Missouri. He's gonna be another Tim Tebow-esque player, or JT Barrett, or I could go on this list forever. So many phenomenal college players that just couldn't transition.
Damn it, quick sidebar. I knew there was going to be a Red Wing that scored a hat trick tonight. It was Tyler Bertuzzi.
I would say I saw the score of that game a second ago, and yeah, ouch.
Fucking 4 goals for Bert. Jesus Christ. I wish I could have found a bet for Red Wings players have now scored a hat trick in 4 of the last 7 season openers.
Ouch.
Ridiculous.
Ow. Yeah.
But no, I cannot. And it was Keyshawn Johnson who played for Gruden in Tampa Bay that came out on ESPN and said, "This guy's always been a fraud, Jon Gruden." He came into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a roster that was already built to go to the Super Bowl. They made more improvements, and he took him there, and he won it. And then never did anything else again.
Yeah.
He took 10 years off for TV before coming back
and
to
wasn't
Raiders.
Good at it.
No, no, that was. I mean, people say that Monday Night Football fell off after Tirico and Gruden left. It was shit then too. I'm not a big fan of Tirico, but didn't care for Gruden in the booth either. The guy's just always been a fraud. Took 10 years off for TV, comes back to the Raiders, gets paid probably more than the majority of the coaches in this league
on a 10-year contract,
and it's done nothing. He's done nothing. They got off to a 3-1 start or 3-0 start this year. Now they've lost their last two. I mean, he's done. He can never. And if you want to defend what he said, oh, it was 10 years ago. Whatever. You do what you do. I can disagree with you and call you a piece of shit.
There is no, much like what Urban Meyer said or did last week. Actually, no. Like, at least what Urban Meyer did, and I personally, my opinion, it's indefensible because he's a married man. At least that was whatever was happening with him and that college chick was consensual.
Right. I mean,
it's still, in my opinion, indefensible. This right here with Gruden,
man, is not illegal. It just makes you a crappy person.
This right here is so indefensible. So
you can't. I've seen people try. I've seen people try. Oh, these are private emails, blah, blah. Nothing's private anymore. Get over it.
Like, and you and I were talking about that we would have to blur some lines. I'm going to just...
That we've never done before, but I think we're both able, especially this scenario, to do.
The only thing I will say that I do not like about this scenario is that, yes, these emails got leaked well after they should have been.
Yeah.
These emails, and I don't even necessarily like the fact that these emails got leaked, because I personally think these emails got leaked to protect Dan Snyder.
I don't think there's a question now that isn't the case. I really do think that is what's going on there.
Like, these didn't get leaked because they wanted Gruden out the door. These got leaked because somebody is trying to protect Dan Snyder. And it's terrible.
Yeah, and like, is it shitty that this is the way that those emails have gone, just deflecting the attention and putting it on Gruden, putting it on Adam Schefter?
Sure.
Yes. But you expose that behavior more so in Gruden's case. I don't give a shit about the Adam Schefter stuff. I really don't.
Say, what did Adam Schefter get looped in with this?
He had sent a email to Bruce Allen, right? That's the guy.
Yeah.
That all these are surrounding Bruce Allen.
Yep.
About an entire. He sent Allen the entire article he was writing about the team at the time, and made some comment about him being the editor for this article or whatever. I would be interested to see the article that was sent to Allen and the article that actually got posted, and see if there was any sort of spin that was put on it. But it's just a journalistic integrity thing that is in question with Adam Schefter. And
okay, so he didn't get. Really? I mean, he didn't get roped in as just being a shitty human. He just got roped in as being a shitty journalist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Adam Schefter ain't getting canceled, I don't think.
Okay. He just got roped in as being a shitty fucking terrible at his job. Okay. Because I didn't even know it. When did the Adam Schefter stuff happen? Because I didn't know about that.
Yesterday.
Okay. I missed that.
I believe. But yeah, nothing on the level of the Gruden stuff.
I mean, Schefter's not phenomenal at his job anyway, but I digress.
But I mean, everybody knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can like Adam Schefter still, but and I mean, what's the difference between you had Ian Rappaport? I mean, hey, it's got to happen here on the Pat McAfee show today, when they asked him about this, and they said, is this a practice that is more normal than we think? And Rappaport goes, he's like, well, yeah, I'll send points to people that are involved in an article and give them a chance to respond to it or something like that. And I think it's more common than people realize. So,
Oh yeah.
I think the whole comment that Schefter made about, Bruce Allen being the editor is more lighthearted than people would realize. At least, I don't know for sure, but that would be
that's odd.
It's impossible to know. But I mean, and it's you go into the homophobic stuff, man. And this guy, Jon Gruden, was the head coach of a team with the first active NFL player to actually come out as gay in Carl Nassib. And this guy's coaching that team? Like, and you see the emails and you see the hate that this guy has for so many different groups of people. And it's just like, this guy can't be a leader of men. He can't be an NFL coach.
No.
We saw last week people say the same stuff about Urban Meyer after everything that happened. This to an even greater extent. Like, you can't. You physically cannot. In the times that we live in, you've lost all respect with anybody. And you'll never get it back. I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Gruden never coaches again and he disappears.
Oh, Jon Gruden, I'm gonna say this. Personally, I am, and anyone can attest to this, I love Urban Meyer.
Yes, you do.
His actions that came out last week, disgust me. The only reason he did not make my chump of the week last week is because of what the college football playoff commissioner said about playoff expansion and how nonchalant he was about it. That's the only reason, because in my opinion, just you can't start something and then quit and then just say, oh yeah, it's taking time. It takes too long. Just how nonchalant you are.
And yet now we're looking at it for potentially 2023.
Yeah.
12 teams, might I
add. How many? 12?
12 was the current reported number.
Jesus. They don't know anymore. Urban Meyer can still at least go out and be a leader of men, because he's not doing, he's doing something shitty. Like, there's
and you lose a little bit of respect for it, but
there's something
who would have had anybody in this league getting fired before Urban Meyer a week ago? And I know he didn't get fired. He did.
Gruden got fired because Gruden
but Mark Davis doesn't have any balls and can't fire the man. He gave him the opportunity to resign.
Yeah, can't fire the man that his dad loved so much.
Mm-hmm. And Mark Davis, similar, group him in, similar pieces of shit.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Urban Meyer can at least go out and lead men and say, you know what, I fucked up.
He said, and that's it. He, credit to him.
Urban Meyer can go out and say, you know what, I fucked up. I did something dumb, and he can at least go back and earn some respect. He can work on his merit.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
He can work on his personal life, and I think Urban Meyer can still earn the respect of his team, the league, and the fans and everybody.
And not just Gruden, even this team, any team in the future. Jon Gruden is done. Unless you are someone who thinks exactly like Jon Gruden. Unless you're one of those NASCAR fans that we talked about earlier. Jon Gruden is...
Don't in there with that.
You don't want to be. Jon Gruden is gaining nothing. He's gaining zero respect. He's gaining nothing. He's done.
Fucking hell, maybe he'll make his way to some Division III college. I don't know, just for some publicity or something.
Be terrible for them.
It wouldn't be good. The fact that we have to talk about these head coaching controversies now 2 weeks in a row, I didn't think it was going to get any worse than Urban Meyer. That's about the biggest head coach controversy that we've seen in quite some time. And then
At least mid-season.
Jon Gruden says, "Hold my beer." I get that it happened 10 years ago. But
At first,
the fact that he's
go
got
ahead.
so many hateful opinions of people, and it's all private stuff. He thinks he can get away with saying anything in private, but if he maintains that public perception, oh, I'm good. He won a Super Bowl because he lucked out with a good roster, and he was popular because he was mic'd up and said some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, Jon Gruden's a fraud. I agree with Keyshawn Johnson in that respect. He's a fraud.
This dude is the epitome of a disgrace.
Always have been, and now always will be.
First off, and I can't believe I'm going to agree with Booger McFarland. Booger McFarland even said that this guy, it's just, the longer the league lets this go on, it's just going to keep being a black eye. The league needs to stop this. The league goes out every week, and you see in the end zone, you see on players' helmets, you see stuff about equality. You see commercials about equality. The NFL has a
and racism. It takes all of us, right?
The NFL right now has a commercial campaign, or at least they had. They may have changed it now that we're into the month of October. Had a commercial campaign saying football, essentially, football is not for just straight white men anymore. And you can't do all of these things that the NFL is doing. You can't do you can't have the commercial saying that football is for everybody, whether you're gay, straight, or whatever your sexual orientation is, whatever your race is, whatever your religion is. You can't have the end racism stuff on the field, in the back of the end zone, on the players' helmets. And you can't have that and still have this kind of stuff going on in your league. Again, I said earlier, as a man of minority descent, of minority heritage, I have a lot of strong opinions on this. You can't, and I'm an individual who, in terms of just team names, I believe certain things just aren't, it's not the battle worth fighting. I've said it about the Cleveland Indians. I've said it about the Kansas City Chiefs. I even, at one point, I've said it about the Atlanta Braves. I haven't really said it so much about the Washington Redskins because I think that's just so bad.
It's pretty bad.
Like, at some point,
I finally acknowledged it, at least.
As
Took about 5 years longer than I should have, but
as a individual of indigenous American heritage, I believe there are other battles worth fighting. This right here is a battle, like, the NFL can't, and not just the NFL, you can spread this to every sports league, needs to get this out. Get the Jon Grudens and the Dan Snyders, get them the fuck out.
First step in doing so.
That's it. I don't have much else to say. I do. I think this is just the biggest excuse and easiest cop out for the Raiders to get Gruden out the door, because he's fucking terrible at everything he does. He's a terrible head coach. Terrible head coach, terrible fucking human being. He just needs to go.
That's on the football field in 20 years.
He needs to go find a hole, find a fucking cave, and just crawl in it and live the rest of his fucking life in that cave.
Probably would be best for him.
Okay, unless you have anything else to say, because like I had a lot of very vehement opinions.
I think that'll do it on Jon Gruden. I think we have covered that he's a human piece of garbage. He shares opinions that nobody should have about people.
Yeah,
I'm happy he's out of league.
Yeah,
and he's never gonna be back. Nobody's gonna touch him.
No.
The Raiders were the only ones that were ever going to, because Mark Davis has to live on the thoughts and everything of his dad. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Gruden's done. He should be done.
Yeah, he's not gonna find a job. He's not gonna find a coaching job. He's not gonna find a TV job. He's done.
Oh God, a TV job. Could you imagine?
He's done.
He might find a TV job on like One American News,
Right.
Fox News, or some shit.
Let's move on to the Week 6 college football recap. And
Yeah.
oh boy,
There's some more positive stuff, but depending on which team you're a fan of, I don't know if it is.
Let's start off real quick. Number 1, Alabama goes to play Texas A&M. They lose. Down goes Frazier. 38-41. Texas A&M was in control of this game for a long time. Then they weren't. And then Alabama took the lead, and then they didn't have the lead, and then they went 3, and then Texas A&M tied it. Then Alabama went 3 and out, and then Texas A&M got the ball, drove down the field to kick a NFL extra point. Their kicker, who was a sizable human, made it, and then they are celebrating in State College or whatever they call it there in Texas A&M. College Station. Thank you. Wow.
Are you ready for the final score of the Lightning?
6-3.
7-6. Lightning.
Huh?
I don't know how. They beat the Red Wings in overtime.
Do you have anything you want to say about this game?
Wow.
I have to go to the bathroom real quick.
Jesus Christ.
I'll be back in a second.
I gotta get some fucking ice because I need some more booze at this point. This podcast has been an adventure. Yeah, I'll ramble about Alabama for a second here.
Okay.
Wow, they were down early and they were down big. Alabama played one of the worst first halves that we've seen from an Alabama Crimson Tide team in a long time. You can go back, I don't even know how many years. I don't know if we've seen an Alabama Crimson Tide game or half of football that bad. But good Lord, I don't even remember what they were down. I can pull up the score here so I don't fucking ramble while I'm filling here all by my lonesome. Box score. Play by play. No, come on. Do play by play scoring plays. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So a 17-point first quarter.
I'm back.
By
the way.
Hello.
Continue it. Go ahead. Keep the slot going.
17-point first quarter for the Texas A&M fucking Aggies. I don't know.
Aggies, yep.
Incredible. Followed by, you're talking Alabama scored 10 points in the first half. They are down 23 or 24 rather to 10 to Texas A&M. Big third quarter, and Alabama outplayed Texas A&M in the third quarter. But just you fell down as much as you did, and it was a shootout to the very end. And Seth Small, who is not a small man,
no,
with a 38 or no, sorry, not a 38-yard field goal, a 28-yard field goal.
I say it was about an NFL extra point.
Yep, little bit short of that. Yeah, pretty much a chip shot field goal. But incredible performance by Texas A&M.
The team that should have actually no. I want to say this. A couple of weeks ago on the show, I did say I could see Alabama after they played Florida, I believe it was. I said I could see Alabama losing to Texas A&M. I did not expect to see Texas A&M lose 2 games in a row, one of them being to Mississippi State or Arkansas. I did not. After that, I wrote off Texas A&M. Continue.
I don't really have much else to say. Alabama played a bad first half. It cost them.
There is okay.
They gave it their all there in the second half. Bryce Young threw a terrible interception at one point in this game. Rough. I mean, and you weren't here for this. I said this is one of the worst halves of football that I've seen Alabama play, and I can't even remember how long.
There was a point that I saw that this was the turning point of this game, in my opinion. Alabama blocked a punt, and it was the block was taken in for a touchdown. The literal ensuing kickoff, Texas A&M took it back for like 106 yards or something like that for a touchdown. I can't. And at that point, Alabama was just so deflated everywhere across the board because
That
it was
a real potential turning point.
Yes,
for Alabama.
Because it's like
all for naught.
It's like, okay, the block punt that resulted in a touchdown, like, okay, we got something here. And then the ensuing kickoff, you let one of the longest kick returns for a touchdown we've seen in college in a while, at least since they've instituted the fair catch puts you out at the 25 too.
Right.
Like, anything else you gotta say?
Props to Texas A&M, man.
Jimbo Fish. Side note. I'll let you finish.
Yes. Well, I know what you're gonna say here, so I'll not say that. But yeah, no, just credit to them, man. They had a great first half against Alabama. That was enough. Hung in there in the second half, and man, that kickoff return for a touchdown, that felt like the dagger, and yet Alabama still fought back.
Yeah, led the game after that at one point.
They did for a very short time, but
yeah.
All right. I don't really have much to say about any of these next games.
You don't have anything for Iowa, Penn State?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't either. It was bad.
The game turned into a shit show once Sean Clifford was out. So
yeah.
You run through these scores and get to Ohio State, and I'll be right back.
I'm gonna say one last thing on Alabama, Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher is the first former Nick Saban assistant to beat Nick Saban. That's it.
They were, I believe, 0-24.
Yes.
Heading into this game. Wild. All right.
Don't take long because I don't have much to say about Ohio State, Maryland.
I just need some ice. I'll be right back.
Moving on, number 2, Georgia played number 18, Auburn. Georgia, the defensive juggernaut, continues steamrolling through teams. Georgia won 34-10. And what was the kind of game of the week, or was originally billed to be the game of the week? Number 3, Iowa took on number 4, Penn State at home over in Kinnick Stadium. These are games Kirk Ferentz wins. He's a great head coach. Iowa won 23-20. Penn State jumped up to a big lead and then just looked terrible because Sean Clifford was bad. Or Sean Clifford was bad up to that point, and then his replacement was even worse. Penn State fans cry about it. Your team looked fucking awful all across the board. Iowa fans, your defense looked pretty good, other than a couple points. Penn State fans fucking cry about it. Your team's terrible. Number 5, Cincinnati played Temple on Friday night. This game's super irrelevant. Cincinnati won 52-3. Who the fuck cares? Number 6, Oklahoma played number 21, Texas, in a game that Spencer Rattler got benched because he was terrible. Problems in Norman because we are going to have a quarterback controversy. Oklahoma won. Caleb, what's his nuts?
Ooh. I'm back at a good time.
Caleb, what's his nuts? Caleb,
Williams.
Caleb Williams, thank you. Led these Oklahoma Sooners, who at one point were down, I believe, 30, to beat Texas 55-48. The game-ending play was a play that I sat there and watched and was yelling at my TV because the Texas defensive ends, and I had no money on this game or didn't care who won. The Texas defensive ends and outside linebackers all broke contain and let Oklahoma's running back run for 33 yards and pay dirt.
For the second time in about 15 minutes. 15 real-life minutes.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah, we got a real quarterback controversy at Oklahoma.
I
mean, I said I didn't have anything to say about any of these games. I do have something to say about this one. You had Spencer Rattler, who was a preseason Heisman favorite. Not one of the favorites. He was the favorite.
Yes.
And now you're looking at this guy being benched. There's some whispers that he might transfer.
I've seen rumors that he's getting ready to enter the transfer portal.
I mean, I guess he's been removed from some Oklahoma athletics website pages, bio pages, things like that. Oklahoma has canceled all media appearances by everybody until Saturday's game. And we had some legend who fucking spied in on Oklahoma practice from an off-site building with binoculars and caught the fact that Spencer Rattler was pulled from drills this week and replaced with Caleb Williams. Spencer Rattler, I think, as far as we're considered there with Oklahoma, pretty much done. I don't know.
This is the second time he's got benched too this season.
I don't know whether he transfers or tries to go to the NFL draft.
Takes 2 weeks off and quits.
I don't know where this leads. It's going to be a wild time.
So Caleb just said it here.
Number six team in the country, it's just an insane scenario to be in.
Caleb just said it here in Twitch chat. The first time, one of the few times I've looked over at Twitch chat this evening. Spencer Rattler's draft stock it's gone. It's plummeted. It's gone. He doesn't have a draft stock.
It is gone, and that's the conundrum that Spencer Rattler is in. He transfers. Where does he go? He's not going to get to go to a team like Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's been down this year. But you could argue that he's the reason why. Because you saw what they were able to do with his backup.
Yeah, so like I said, Spencer Rattler's been benched twice this year.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this is gonna be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, a team that's fighting for a playoff spot, and this is going on. It's wild. This is like the stuff that Pat McAfee and us as well kind of live for. This wild story.
Oh, I love seeing it. Makes it fun.
I mean, I hate it for Spencer Rattler.
Oh yeah, he seems like a good kid.
Being a favorite to be a Heisman contender, potential first round pick this year, and it's just fallen off the rails for him. So it sucks, but that's the business.
Yeah. Number 7, Ohio State played Maryland. Ohio State scored more than enough against Maryland because it wasn't even fucking close. Its final tally ended up being 66-17 for Ohio State. All I got to say on this game, and I don't have a lot to say on this game, Ohio State finally looks like Ohio State.
They do.
They
can't deny that. They had the early season first couple games, including the loss to Oregon, where you're like, whoa, this Ohio State team doesn't look like the Ohio State team that we're used to. Oh, fuck all that, because it looks like they're back to their winning ways.
A little side note.
Took this team a little bit to get together and make it work.
This Ohio State football team, after week 3, just in terms of defensive stats, I'm going to talk more about this a little later. After week 3, they were the 3rd worst team in the country in terms of defensive stats. They had given up almost 1,600 yards in 3 games.
That's a lot for 3 games.
The only teams that were worse were UConn and UMass,
who just played in the Cum Bowl.
Unfortunately.
I mean, define unfortunately. Cum Bowl's fucking great.
Unfortunately that game existed. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this game.
I believe both of those teams are independent, so it just makes sense, I suppose.
Like, this game, Ohio State, Maryland had a 3-0, had a lead at one point. It was 3-0 after Maryland's very first drive.
Yep.
And then
And that's about all they can do. I mean, you script a good first drive with Talia Tagovailoa, and
who looked good that first drive.
But that's it. I mean,
they got help from a roughing the passer, but
right.
That was it.
Can look good on that opening drive, and then once you really settle into the game, after you really don't have those plays scripted, I mean, so many teams just fall off the rails, and I think that's a lot of what defines a good team and what defines a bad team. And Maryland is at this point a bad team.
After 2 weeks, yeah. Not much else to say.
Maryland pretended to be good there for 4 weeks or so. Last 2 weeks, we've seen the real Maryland. It is what it is. It's to be expected.
Not much else to say. Number 8, Oregon had a bye. So moving on, number 9, Michigan played Nebraska in a game that saw balloons.
Yeah.
Michigan won 32-29. I'll let Jordan take it away, though.
To touch on those balloons, I can't believe I had never noticed this before. Apparently, that's a tradition that Nebraska does, and I told you this already, that after the first touchdown, they release fucking hundreds of balloons out into the sky because fuck the environment, I guess.
It's Nebraska.
I mean, I read one time that one of those balloons ended up in New York. Jesus Christ.
I could see it.
Dumb
Yes, also, Akron did lead Ohio State at one point, too.
First drive?
Yes.
That was it. And how'd that game turn out?
Ugly.
Garbage time drive by Akron with a stupid timeout.
Yeah, just in hopes of covering.
I believe I was sweating out that cover. not because I put any money on the game. I think that was more for our picks. But
oh yeah, probably.
It's not, you think I would fucking bet on Akron? Jesus. All right, this Michigan game. I was sweating this one. All week long, heading into the game, I was really wondering why the spread was as low as it was. Michigan was -3 heading in. It was as low as like 2 the week before the game. And I get it. I get it now. Nebraska, and this is not the Michigan bias showing through. This is just the respect and the appreciation for Nebraska. They are a decent team. They're not a good team by any means.
Okay. There. Yes, I can agree with that then.
They're a decent team with a very rough schedule, and I get into this point because I've seen a lot of Michigan fans, non-Michigan fans, say, "Oh well, this is you won, but this is embarrassing." Like, you look at it at face value, and you're like, "Okay, yeah, sure." They've given not 1, not 2, but now 3 teams that are currently ranked in the top 10 and undefeated a run for their money in Oklahoma and Michigan State.
And Michigan.
Tough. Michigan is the 3rd team.
Yeah.
I mean, they took Michigan State to overtime. They were within a score of Oklahoma, which is incredible given the Big 12's version of football, which is offense heavy. It's it's really tough to even know what Nebraska is because they'll play it tough for so long. Then that late fourth quarter, or potentially overtime rolls around, they kill themselves. Adrian Martinez does Adrian Martinez things. They had an opportunity to beat us.
They had a lead,
really
a lead.
They had two separate leads.
Yeah.
And we hadn't trailed in any game at any point throughout the entire season.
Scott Frost doesn't like points, apparently.
Scott Frost does not like points. Yeah, he decided to not score points over scoring points. So,
I think that, honestly, on that first drive is what his biggest tone setter.
It's just, another game where Michigan comes out with a win and you really don't know what they are. Like, and we won't know until they play Penn State and Ohio State.
And
Penn State,
Michigan
maybe
State
not
probably. So. Like, it's hard to say.
And Michigan State, yeah. Michigan State has taken over from Wisconsin as the three biggest threats in the Michigan season. Like, I know that the Wisconsin game's already done, but like their offense is putrid. They never stood a chance in that game. That was,
and Michigan still took a while to put them to bed.
yeah, mainly because of a 2-minute drill touchdown by Wisconsin. We were I don't know if we were playing soft or what it was, but that
needed an 18-point fourth quarter to put them to bed. And I'm not saying anything negative about Michigan. I do have some things I want to say about this game and the limited action that I watched while I was flipping between this and the A&M game, A&M Bama game. But I'll let you finish any thoughts you have first, because this is your team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to say what Michigan is. I mean, they're 6-0. Give them credit for that. But the games that are truly going to matter if you want to contend for a Big Ten championship and potentially a playoff spot are still to come. And it's literally, essentially the month of October, or the month of November, rather, because the Michigan State game is October 30th or 31st, somewhere in there.
Yep.
30th, because that's the 31st is Halloween's a Sunday. It is going to be a very interesting month of November for this Michigan Wolverines team. Cade McNamara made a great point, though. Throughout everything that did happen in this game, he's interviewed after the game, and he says, look, I've been on previous Michigan teams where we lose that game. And he says, I think that it's different. And right now, I would side to agree with him because look, I've watched them all. I've watched Michigan lose games like this where they fall down and they go into a hole and they can't get out of it. But they came out with a great response drive when Nebraska first took the lead, and then a great drive at the end of the game to kick the field goal to win it. I mean, it just... And same with the Wisconsin game. Like, you know, say what you will about Wisconsin. Underdog on the road under Jim Harbaugh, we lose that game every single year. So maybe this is different. Who the hell knows at this point? The big games are coming up. And it just remains to be seen. But this is, at the very minimum, this is different. Jim Harbaugh is not going to get fired at the end of this season. I think that's a given now. Yeah,
and which honestly could be a bad thing in my opinion, but we'll talk about that much later down the road.
Might not be. Maybe Harbaugh, you know, the jury's out. Maybe Harbaugh wasn't the problem because every single bit of this coaching staff, other than Harbaugh, is different. Maybe Jim Harbaugh just employed some wrong guys. Nobody knows. And
Don Brown was very much a wrong guy, but that I'll agree.
Don Brown was a good guy for 2 years, and then his defense just got progressively worse because he can't help but blitzing 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. So can I get my quick thoughts on this game?
Go for
it. This game, oh my God. Michigan can't put teams away. Has not been able to put Power 5 teams away. Other than Washington, but Washington went 30-some drives across 2 games without scoring.
Yes.
And I did a look at I'm gonna plug my current my top 25 that I do every week, with the exception of last week. I did some research. Michigan's opponents, in terms of just straight record, are not good. 18-17.
Now, I will say, that is good for 14th best in strength of schedule.
Which is...
That is where they currently rank.
Odd, because they're, in terms of schedule, their 2 best teams are MAC teams. Because Michigan wanted some MACtion.
They sure did.
But I digress there. I mean, they beat who they played. I as an individual will not... I mean...
They had to do it. That's it.
In terms of how teams should be ranked, yes, I will say, okay, this team should be lower than this team, or X team should be lower than X team. But I mean, I don't shit on teams just for beating who was on their schedule. Because let's be honest, everyone thought Washington was going to be good. People didn't think Washington was going to lose to Montana.
Yeah, ranked in the top 25 at season start.
And then they lost to Montana. This Michigan team just... And I think this does go back to Harbaugh. It could go back to Josh Gaddis, the OC. Or it could even just go back to Cade McNamara. Or wrap around again to Harbaugh and his just unlogical loyalty to Cade McNamara. This team at points looks zero-dimensional. They don't even look one-dimensional. When that run game gets stopped, they look dead in the water. And
I mean, it's very clear that Cade McNamara is the second most talented quarterback on the Michigan roster behind J.J. McCarthy. But yeah, when they put J.J. McCarthy in the game, and again, I don't know if this is just hiding him from film or whatever, he's a running quarterback, which makes no sense because he's got an arm, and we've seen his arm, and it's fantastic.
This is just one of those spots where I think Harbaugh has no fucking clue what he's doing. I think, they couldn't put Rutgers away. They went out and had one first down against Rutgers in the second half because their offense became non-existent. They need an 18-point fourth quarter to put Wisconsin away, and then they needed Adrian Martinez.
But arguably, and I can't defend the second half against Rutgers. They played absolutely terrible.
Yes.
You can't go out and get one first down in the second half and I'm gonna be happy with it.
Well, yes.
You just can't. With Nebraska, at the very least, I can respect it because Nebraska made plays.
I will agree with that.
To get back in this game.
I will agree with that.
Adrian Martinez led a great drive to open that second half, and the Nebraska offense was really clicking in that third quarter. And
I can agree with that.
I mean, it's not like our defense played particularly bad. Nebraska just made plays. So the Rutgers game, that's the worst game of the season for me because that second half offensively was putrid. The Nebraska game I can live with because it's not like you played terrible. Cade McNamara, not mentioning him. But
I had how many times am I gonna say Cade McNamara's ass while watching this game counter going on Twitter? I think I stopped tweeting.
That I muted because I couldn't handle it because I was sweating this game.
I actually stopped tweeting it about midway through the third quarter when he started missing 3-yard out routes.
Yeah, he was that third quarter offensively. I can't say defensively because Nebraska was they were just better. And if a team that is better than you and executing better, you can't fault it. I didn't disagree with any of the calls defensively, but they just executed better in that third quarter. The only quarter that they did.
And I'm saying this, I'm not an Ohio State fan that goes and watches Michigan games with the sole purpose of pointing out all Michigan's flaws or hoping Michigan loses. How do I put this properly? I'm not worried about Ohio State. Until Michigan shows me stuff that they can beat Ohio State or keep Ohio State from scoring 60 a game or can keep up with them. Michigan's another game.
The Michigan State game's going to be a big test for that because, you got a three-headed monster on offense that Michigan's going to have to stop with Peyton Thorne, Jaden Reed, and Kenneth Walker. Some of the best of the Big Ten at their position.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be the test for the defense to see if this team is even capable of beating Ohio State. If they beat Michigan State right now, Penn State, I don't know. If Clifford's out, that game.
If Sean Clifford's out, that's
an easy Michigan win.
Yeah.
But the Michigan State game, if they're healthy, when that game happens in East Lansing, that's going to be the test, and that's going to be the first indication of whether or not this Michigan team is worth a damn or it's just same old, same old.
Like, this Michigan team, and so as I was saying, to finish mine, I do agree with that, though. Like, I don't watch Michigan games. I also don't I don't really watch too many Michigan games. Like, their games against their MAC teams, I watched a quarter and a half of the game against Washington. Their game against... I didn't even watch the second half against Rutgers because I thought that game was well in hand when Michigan went up 13-0 at half.
I think it was 17-0.
Or 17-0 at half, I'm sorry. This Nebraska game was the first game I watched like a lot of, and Michigan just... I just don't know. They exist, and I think some of it is McNamara, some of it's Harbaugh. I think it's a terrible combination.
I would put it more at this point on Josh Gaddis. I think in terms of the coaching staff, I think Josh Gaddis right now is the weakest link for Michigan. I really would have liked to see him replace. But right now, I mean, hey, 6-0, you're in it.
Yeah.
Just gotta wait to see what this team is.
Moving on. Number 10, BYU played Boise State. Boise State won 26-17. This game happened. That's all I got.
It was always the Broncos.
Yeah. Number 11, Michigan State played stupid Rutgers. Michigan State won 31-13. This is a game that, well, nobody really wanted to win the second half. Michigan State had the one big play in the second half, and other than that, it was kind of just fart noise.
MSU relies a lot on those explosive plays, kickoff returns, big chunk plays. The second that they don't get those, MSU looks average, if not bad. And we've seen it in the second half of the past few MSU games where the offense shuts down a little bit, and yet they still put up numbers. But I mean, good God, what, 3 straight 66-yard touchdowns, I believe?
Something like that.
for MSU in the first half? I think one was a punt return or something. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't watch much of the first half of that game.
No.
So I don't remember properly. But the chunk plays for MSU are a big part of their success. And it's really strange how they keep getting them because they're all facets of the game. They're, rushing, passing, special teams, wild.
Yeah.
God. Eagles are coming back. Uh-oh.
Oh no. All I gotta say, stupid Rutgers. This 3-game stretch does not define them. I think they're better than Rutgers past. That's all I got on that game.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird that I think they scored the same amount of points against Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State.
Yes.
I believe they scored 13 in each of those games.
Now the only difference is Ohio State scored 70.
Right. A 2-point conversion attempt for the Eagles?
70.
I swear if the fucking Eagles cover.
Oklahoma State had a bye, so moving on, number 13, Arkansas played number 17, Ole Miss. Ole Miss had barely enough to win. Game was 52-51. Arkansas's coach, instead of deciding to kick the extra point to tie it, went for 2, and it didn't work. Lane Kiffin had his popcorn ready for this game. This game was fun. That's all I got to say on it, though.
A lot of fucking points. Close game. Matt Corral to the Lions. That's all I want.
Number 14, Notre Dame sucks, but Virginia Tech sucks just a bit more. Notre Dame won 32-29. Nobody fucking cares.
I mean, I do. I want some money on that game. Well, parlayed with Michigan covering, but or no, that was straight money line. Nebraska or Notre Dame and Michigan.
Oh, nice.
May I take a second to brag? I had a 5-0 weekend, 1-0 Monday. Probably gonna lose some bets tonight, but hopefully gonna come out on top.
I won some money on Sunday. Saturday was rough for me. This past Saturday was rough for me. I'll admit it.
4-0 Saturday with Tyson Fury mixed in there.
After going 3-0 last Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, and winning 80-some bucks. I went 0 for 2 last Saturday. Yeah. Oops.
I mean, it happens. Three-day hot streak over here.
Yeah. Number 15 Coastal Carolina played Arkansas State. Shocker, Coastal Carolina scored 50 plus. They beat Arkansas State 52-20. Number 16.
Hold on Coastal Carolina for 1 second.
Okay.
They are a threat to cover the spread every fucking time they take the field.
Yes.
Swear. Coastal Carolina, throw them in with some other parlays. That's probably going to be the easiest leg for you more often than not.
They have only one time so far this year that I've had them in parlays. They have not worked out for me because whenever I have them in parlays, I have them to cover.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the money line it's just so far gone that they're going to win.
Yeah, with who they play, you can't make money on the money line. It's got to be spread, and they cover that spread more often than not. I think the one game that you picked them to cover and they didn't is probably the only time this season that they haven't. And I bet it was probably close.
No, it wasn't because they were a 15-point. I mean, they needed one more touchdown. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. Number 16, Kentucky played LSU. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron's probably going to get punted soon because it just appears that he's lost the team. But, however, final score, Kentucky won 42-21.
Who the hell would have thought Kentucky would be any good?
Right. Number 19, Wake Forest played Syracuse. Nobody cares. This is the ASS conference. I mean, the ACC conference. Wake Forest won 40-37. No one fucking cares.
Sure did. I mean, I am sort of on the Wake Forest bandwagon a little bit, but not fully committed.
Number 20, Florida won 42 to massive ass against Vanderbilt.
What does massive ass stand for?
In this case, nil.
For any Americans out there, that means 0.
Yep. Vanderbilt scored a whole whopping 0 points against Florida. The Florida Gators won 42-0, kind of killing one of my NCAA parlays this past weekend. Because
what?
I had 0 confidence in the Florida Gators to cover the spread.
What was the spread?
40.
I mean, I can't blame you. That's a big number.
This Florida Gators team has covered the spread once this year. Or no, twice, because they were...
I would say this time.
They were a dog against Bama by 7, and then... Or 14 against... A dog by a lot against Bama, and then this. Number 22, Arizona State.
No fucking clue how Florida played Alabama so tough and then lost to Kentucky. Don't get it.
I don't either. Number 22, Arizona State and the Fighting Herm Edwardses. Yeah, whatever. Played Stanford and they beat them 28-10. Herm's got a good thing going over with that team. That's all I got.
Sure does. Stanford's been a tough team there in the not the SEC, the Pac-12.
I was saying, did something change overnight?
Mid-season conference realignment. No, Arizona State, solid team. Herm Edwards has got the boys buzzing.
Yeah. Number 23, North Carolina State. Nobody fucking cares because it's the ass conference. I mean, the ACC. North Carolina State had a bye.
Didn't even know they were in the ACC.
Yep. Nobody cares about the ACC. It's terrible. The ACC is massive ass.
Yes, confirmed.
Number 24, SMU played Navy. SMU won 31-24. Not much to say about this game because I didn't even know it existed.
Poor Navy, man.
They've fallen on tough times over there at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. And finally, rounding out the top 25, the San Diego State Aztecs or whatever they are.
That sounds accurate.
Played in New Mexico. San Diego State won 31-7. let us move on to the new AP Top 25, even though my Top 25 is better and more thought out, and the AP is just awful at everything.
I mean, it's not RJ's top 25 there.
If it wasn't for some of the stupid that happened, RJ Young would have made into my stupid people say stupid things. I digress, though.
Ohio State fucking number 20.
Yeah. Georgia is ranked 1, Iowa 2, Cincinnati 3, which I don't entirely agree with, but whatever. Oklahoma at 4, which, okay, sure. Alabama at 5, which I really disagree with.
Gross.
Ohio State.
Gross.
Ohio State goes up to 6. I think Alabama and Ohio State should be swapped out there. Actually, I think
I agree with you.
I think Alabama should be down at 7, and Penn State should be up at 6. But I digress. Penn State's at 7.
I can't.
Penn State lost to a fucking ranked team. Penn State lost to a ranked team.
They did 3 versus 4. I mean, that's fair.
Penn State's at 7. Michigan is at 8. Oregon is at 9 after a bye week. Michigan State cracks into the top 10, meaning we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Big Ten teams representing in the top 25 because it is the deepest conference in college football this year. And, well, pretty much
the conference. Oh, wait, the Big Ten's not actually 10 teams.
not anymore. Thank you.
Been for a long while.
Thank you, Penn State, Rutgers, Maryland, Nebraska.
Those guys.
I feel like I'm missing someone else, but
Maryland.
Penn State, Rutgers, Maryland, Nebraska. Yeah, that's right. Because they're at 14 now.
They were 11 for a little bit. Who else?
Yeah, Penn State. Penn State was the 11th.
Oh yeah, okay, you're right.
Kentucky is in at 11. Oklahoma State, even though they had the bye week, so they stayed at 12. Ole Miss jumps to 13. Notre Dame stays at 14. Coastal Carolina is at 15. They should be up in Notre Dame's spot, in my opinion. But I digress. Wake Forest goes to 16. Arkansas drops to 17. Arizona State goes to 18. BYU drops, and what was the biggest drop? BYU drops to 19, dropping 9 spots. Florida stays at 20. Texas A&M jumps up from being unranked to 21 after beating the Alabama Crimson Tide. North Carolina State after a bye goes up a spot, which is a joke.
The fuck does that happen?
In my top 25, I had I believe North Carolina. Auburn. I mean, Auburn now has 3 losses, I think. So okay, never mind. SMU goes to 23.
Are they? Was Auburn ranked? Are they in here?
They were. Yeah, they lost to Georgia. They were 18.
Oh, okay. Yep, got it.
San Diego State is up to 24. Texas is to 25. That is your top 25 for this week. Going into week 7, let's move on to the week 5 recap. Starting with
Gotta get some fucking college football playoff rankings here soon. I think they come out in a week or 2. So
2, I think.
Hopefully, gotta get those in there. These AP rankings, you never know.
Yeah, just so bad.
Playoff committee is equally bad, but they do what they want.
Yeah. Moving on to the NFL, starting with the Thursday night action, the Los Angeles Rams beat the Seattle Seahawks 26-17 after Russell Wilson went down with an injury. This is going to be rough for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Geno Smith came in there, had one good drive, and I mean, really was putting Seattle in position for success. The interception to end the game wasn't even his fault. I mean, Seattle might be okay. I mean, who knows? I mean, Geno Smith, I mean, who the hell knows? We haven't seen him as a regular starter in Lord knows how long. So, see what that means for the Seahawks going forward. But Rams getting back on track after the loss to Arizona.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens
They're
with
good.
the LA Rams. Yeah, hey. Matt Stafford, baby.
Apologies to the city of London. You had to watch the Atlanta Falcons and the New York goddamn Jets. The Falcons won 27-20 in a game that, well, Jordan was probably the only person in the world that watched. At least in America. The only neutral fan, I should say.
I turned this off roughly, I believe, before halftime to go watch the F1 race.
Fair enough. The Green Bay Packers took on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Packers won in overtime, 25-22, and in overtime that felt like literal forever because missed field goals. All I gotta say about this game is
5 of them.
yeah. All I gotta say about this game is. Oh my God!
You're happy about it. You wanted the Bengals to lose.
I wanted the Bengals to lose. I'm not upset that they lost. This Bengals team is going to be in a lot of close games. I think. I've said it last week in talking about the Jacksonville game. I think this Bengals team showed just in that game against Jacksonville how not great they are, and I think this game here also showed at points how not great they are. Joe Burrow threw.
They're the Lions with more talent.
Yes. This Bengals team just isn't good. They're not there. And the Packers, I don't even know what to get out of them anymore.
Fucking.
That's all. That's all I got on this game.
Mason Crosby, 4th time's the charm to fucking put that one away.
Right.
Good God. That was a game that was involved in my Sunday NFL parlays, and God damn it, man. That was a single game parlay that, everything else was settled by like halftime. And all I needed was Green Bay to cover. And for whatever reason, Green Bay was only -2.5. And thank God they did. Oh my God. That was a wild one. I mean, I don't know what it is about Mason Crosby. This is like the second time that he's just had one of those games where he can't hit a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
But put it away. Got him the win. Like I said, just took 4 tries.
This Bengals team, as I've said, just isn't great. And just Joe Burrow isn't there yet. You could see it in that interception he threw in overtime. That's all I got on him. They're gonna win some meaningless games. They're not gonna make the playoffs. That's it. Moving on. The Minnesota Vikings played the Detroit Lions. Minnesota won 19-17. Detroit. Before I'm gonna just say this before Jordan gets this game. Minnesota won on a 55-yard field goal with zeros on the clock. Again, second time the Lions have lost on a 50-plus yard game-winning field goal as time is expiring this year.
First time in NFL history through the first 5 games.
Anything you want to say, go ahead, because I don't have much to say about this game.
If you hear the defeat in my voice, it likely resembles the feelings of Dan Campbell, who took to the podium after this game in literal tears. I mean, he's been lionized already, man. We got to pay Calvin, man. The curse is happening. It sucks so much. And now I didn't want them to win this game, but my God, the fight to even be in a position, and the balls by Dan Campbell to make the call to go for 2 at the end of that game to put us up. We ain't winning shit this year. Fucking go for it. You don't get it. Nobody's gonna blame you if you don't get that 2-point conversion at the end of the game to make it happen. To give yourself a chance to win the game in regulation. No one's gonna blame you if that doesn't work. This team isn't talented. Fucking go for it if you're in that situation. I support that 100%.
I don't think it was a bad decision. I think it was good. I've said it before. I said it before with looking at the Ravens game. Dan Campbell kicked the field goal. Take the fucking points. Do what you can to give your team the chance to win. Like
give your team the lead late. I will never be, critical of that.
And I
again am not going to be critical of the Lions rushing 3 on a late game on the drive that Minnesota had after we took the lead. I'm not going to be critical of rushing 3 on a passing down when you know Minnesota's throwing it deep.
Yeah.
It's the secondary and it's the defense as a whole that isn't getting it done. You can't put it on rushing 3 when they're throwing the ball. You're putting more guys back.
I never changed the graphic.
Oops. And it just hasn't worked. You put
Loser.
more guys back to defend the pass. That's not a bad thing.
It just hasn't worked.
It just hasn't worked 2 separate times because our defense isn't good. The whole team isn't good, but we're in these games. I don't know how. We had no business being in this game. Just like the 49er game. Just like the Ravens game. No business being in any of these.
I think the Lions had more business. I think the Lions had more business being in this game just because the Vikings are ass.
We really even didn't. Minnesota had us put away, and they fumbled the ball while trying to kill the clock. That set us up for the chance to go ahead, or at least tie the game, but we went ahead. I don't know what this Lions team is all about. Dan Campbell's getting the most out of his players, and it's clear he believes in them. It's clear he wants to win. I mean, Pride of Detroit, the SB Nation blog for the Lions, ran a poll if you approve of Dan Campbell's job right now, and 96% of the people do. I don't know who the fucking 4 are that don't. Probably idiots that don't realize that this team has no talent at any position other than tight end with TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
And center, but Frank Ragnow's done for the year.
I mean, you got Panay say, well, you want to trade? I'll give you a wide receiver.
I mean, no, but he's young and he's made his mistakes, and that's fine. He's the youngest player in the goddamn league. But, yeah, no, I don't know how this team is even in these games at all. I mean, Baltimore's one of the best teams in the AFC, and it took a 66-yard NFL record field goal to beat us. No fucking clue how any of this is happening. I have no earthly idea. But, I didn't pick the Lions to cover this last week. I'm back on the Lions train, man. The spread's tiny this week, but they're going to be a threat to cover every single week, I think, because this team just fights for their head coach.
Moving on, the Pittsburgh Steelers in a game that I was wrong about, surprisingly, because I haven't been wrong a whole lot of times this year, honestly.
You've been on fire with the NFL picks, man.
The game I was kind of wrong about, the Pittsburgh Steelers went to Denver, I think, or played Denver at least.
So.
I believe they went to Denver. They beat Denver 27-19. Denver's not good. Denver might not be good. Pittsburgh lost Juju Smith-Schuster, but Denver just might not be good.
Smoke and mirrors on them, man.
Pittsburgh might not be great either, but yeah.
Pittsburgh's not fantastic. They're good enough to win some games.
Talking about a team that is not good and a team that is good, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
Played the Miami Dolphins this week. I have to get something ready for just a second. I was not entirely ready for this. All I'm going to have to say about this game is I'm going to put an image right in the middle of the screen here in 1 second for anybody who is watching this to look at. You can see the Miami Dolphins offensive line not doing a thing, in which one of their linemen is taking a nap and the other is picking his nose, staring off into space as Jacoby Brissett is getting hit by 4 guys. And one of his other offensive linemen is pushing someone into Jacoby Brissett. That's really all I got to say about this game.
Jacoby Brissett back to being a backup. Tua is back this week, so maybe we'll see the Miami team that we thought we'd see before you got hurt?
Tampa Bay won 45-17. Not much to say about that. I said pretty much all my piece. The New Orleans Saints played the Washington football team, embattled with their controversy that had happened. New Orleans won 33-22. Not much to say there. And
who the hell knows with the Saints? Jameis Winston looks serviceable, but man, I don't know. I ain't putting money on the Saints until they start to prove some shit.
And an odd one, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Carolina Panthers 21-18. The Panthers are missing Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, they are. He should be back soon. Carolina should have won this game if it wasn't for a blocked punt, but just didn't do enough. Might have been too early to claim Sam Darnold as the comeback player of the year or most improved player or anything like that. But I think Carolina will be okay. I mean, they're in a rough division, obviously, with Tampa Bay, so they ain't winning the division, but it is what it is. Philly with a strong win there. Of course, they lost tonight by 6 when the spread was 6.5.
Oops.
Killed probably all of my bets by 1 fucking point because they went for 2.
Oof. In an odd game, the Tennessee Titans played the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game the scores further apart than what this game looked like it would have been or was. This game looks like a blowout, and it really was not. The Titans won.
You were watching this game, right? You had money on this one.
I had a single game parlay going on with this game that involved Derrick Henry scoring 2 touchdowns and getting over 111 rushing yards. Over 111 and a half. He needed 112 or more, and the Titans to win. This Titans team is odd. They're trying to make Ryan Tannehill be the game winner. Derrick Henry needed...
That's never been them. It's never been this team with Vrabel as coach, Tannehill there, and Derrick Henry. Never been fully on Tannehill. I don't know what they're doing.
With 7 minutes left and up, I believe 12, I believe it was. Up 12-ish, I think. Or somewhere in there, maybe about 12. I can't remember what it was at the time. With 7 minutes left, the Titans were still throwing the ball. Derrick Henry did not make my bet be a winner until the final drive when he had 50 yards on the final drive and his 3rd touchdown of the game. This Jacksonville Jaguars team stays in games that they shouldn't at points.
Yeah, no clue about Jacksonville. They're bad, but they hang around a little bit.
They fight. Moving on, the New England Patriots played the Houston Texans, who are also bad. The Texans had a lead, and then they didn't because they just quit.
Blew that fucker.
New England won 25-22.
They sure did. Somehow, I have no idea how. I checked the score of this game, and Houston had a massive lead, and then the Fighting Mac Joneses fucking came back.
Bill Belichick did some sorcery, and they won.
That's the only way to describe it, man.
Pulled some voodoo out of his ass.
What he does.
Bill Belichick pulled some voodoo out of his ass, and, well, they won. And what was Jon Gruden's final game? The Las Vegas Raiders took on Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears won 20-9 in a game that wasn't really exciting.
I knew I wanted nothing to do with betting this game. That's for sure. Because I didn't know what to expect. I believe Vegas was -5.5.
Yep.
So I'm glad I stayed away. Fitting end to the Jon Gruden era. Disappointment.
Yeah. His entire career. And what was the game of, mostly the game of the week? the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert, who is he on your screen here? He's right below me, kind of half fitting, surprisingly. Took on the Cleveland Browns. And he's a dude. The Chargers won 47-42. Baker's probably questioning his defense right now. The Browns had leads various points and just couldn't put them away, and then the defense just couldn't exist. Baker Mayfield threw for 3 big number. Baker threw for neither defense was good. Baker threw for a shit ton of yards. Justin Herbert threw for $4. It was just bad.
Chargers are for real. I think the Browns are just getting kind of a rough end of the deal here with who they're playing. LA Chargers, man. They're very, very, very good.
In a game that, well, the Dallas Cowboys played the New York Giants. The New York Giants are not for real.
Well, they weren't before with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, and then they both died in this game. So,
yep, Dallas won 44-20. Not much to say.
Big number for Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is. If they can keep everybody healthy, Dallas is pretty good.
Oh yeah, mainly Dak.
Yeah,
Dak stays healthy. They'll run away with that division.
The Arizona Cardinals played Trey Lance in San Francisco. The Cardinals won a very unexciting game, 17-10.
Niner defense somehow kept them in this one, but Arizona lowest point total on the year. Did not expect this to be within the score the way Arizona was playing, but they hung in there. They got it done. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Arizona's going 17-0, but they look to be pretty solid, and they got the leg up in that NFC West division right now over the LA Rams.
Yeah. Moving on to the Sunday night game. Oh boy, this is another one I was wrong about. The Buffalo Bills took on KC. Buffalo's offense did not exist in the second half.
Didn't need to.
They won 38-20.
Pretty solid for the Bills if your offense can be non-existent in the second half and still beat the Chiefs by 3 scores.
Yeah. It's just the Chiefs are a broken team right now. Their defense is awful.
They paid so much money to keep the offensive side of the ball together, and the defense is suffering right now in this year. But to be fair, they've lost to 4-1 teams with a record of 4-1 currently.
Yeah.
Every single time they've lost. So
yeah,
Chiefs will figure it out. They'll be all right, but the defense is a big question right now, and they're going to have to get better as the season goes along. It's going to be tough to do. Buffalo clear number 1 in the AFC right now.
Still disagree.
I know you still disagree. Even though we haven't even gotten to the team that you think is the number 1 team in the AFC right now. We'll get to them here momentarily, but yeah, no. Buffalo
I think
number 1.
I think Buffalo is very close. Though I'll say that.
What questions do you have about Buffalo? Is it the week 1 loss to Pittsburgh? What is
it's the points
after what they've done since? Most of their games haven't been in question.
The week 1 loss to Pittsburgh was just bad. I'm not even gonna say anything about that because usually every team, Baltimore, did not have a good loss to fucking Raiders.
Yeesh. I'm still in shock about that one.
Yeah. It's not so much, I do have questions. You look at Buffalo, their offense at points, like they did against the Steelers and then they did this past Sunday, just quits. They get lost at some point. They
still score 38.
They looked really good. And then, they against the Steelers in week 1, they looked good. and then something happens at halftime, and they just kind of vanish. I think they are really close. It's not even necessarily, I mean, that is the only question I have about Buffalo. It's not even really so much as questions about Buffalo. It's more of there is nothing you could really say bad about the Baltimore Ravens other than they somehow lost to the fucking Raiders.
Right.
Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore played Indy. Indy quit. The Indianapolis Colts. Indy fucking just gave up on Monday Night Football. Yep. Lamar Jackson threw for 400.
Yeah. I say we, not necessarily us, but everyone else has to quit that whole Lamar Jackson's a running back thing. I mean, dude can throw as well.
And like that right there, I think if the Ravens had a real number one running back, there would be no question that they're the number one team in the AFC. But just that right there, Lamar Jackson is why this team, and this team's the Ravens defense didn't look great against Indy, but Lamar Jackson is just so fucking good that it's not even funny.
Dude's wild.
He's gonna win the MVP again this year, I think.
At this rate, yes. It's him and Josh Allen probably. Maybe Kyler Murray. Yeah, it's wild. Baltimore did it though.
Yeah.
They hung in there.
Indy kind of gave up.
Came back because Indy gave up, and I don't know.
And I think we were both wrong about Indy. I think we both thought Indy was gonna be good, and they just.
I like the Colts. I didn't necessarily believe in Carson Wentz. I think the team they have around Carson Wentz is good, but
they just look lost at points.
They do, and I really don't get it.
I just said the Bills at points look really lost, or look lost. If you give the Bills at least a map, they can find where they're going. The Colts right now couldn't even be able to read the fucking map.
Yeah,
they would get more lost with the map. But that is your NFL recap. Let us move on to the picks. Starting with
indeed time for the picks.
College football, and I want to lead this off, even though this is your baby. Go ahead and take it.
I know. I'll let you take it because I know you love the ACC.
No, it is time for the picks Maction edition.
Well, it is Maction edition, yes.
Now, I'm going to lead this off because...
Really quickly, though, I call it Maction edition because we do still have a 15-game college slate to pick, but we pick every single MAC game, all 12 teams, all 6 games, they're all in here.
Yes.
Because Michigan and Ohio State have a bye, and we both love ourselves some Maction.
Yes.
So we thought this was
also, fun fact, the Florida Gators also have a bye.
Once I saw that every MAC team played this week, it was easy. It was like, we got this going on.
I'm going to take... This will be the first time I've actually taken one for the picks. It's fitting because of the team that's here. It's fitting because of the team that's here, though.
Oh, yeah.
Once I saw this one, I was like, I gotta take this. Once I saw the first game on the slate. The Clemson Tigers, who are number 11 in something, just not top 25.
Hell no.
They're number 11 in something because Dabo Swinney thinks they should just rank everything 11. Take on Syracuse. The 3-2 Tigers are a 14.5 point favorite at home road.
On the road.
On the road. On a extremely irrelevant Friday night game for the Clemson Tigers at 7 p.m. taking on the Syracuse Orangemen. Again, Syracuse a 14.5 point dog. Who you got?
I am going with 69% of the people because that's very, very nice. Going with the Clemson Tigers. Can't believe I'm doing that, but Syracuse ain't good. Clemson ain't good either, don't get me wrong, but give me Clemson. I'm going to regret it, but fuck it.
I am going with Syracuse just to spite Dabo Sweeney.
I figured as much.
This game is... No, I'm not done. This game's going to be ass. Don't watch it. Now, go ahead.
ASS in the ASS. In a game that hundreds and hundreds of people might care about, the Marshall Thundering Herd travel to North Texas to take on the Mean Green. Marshall minus 11.5 in, I don't even know what the fuck conference these teams are in. Who you got?
The irrelevant conference. This game,
much.
Side note, is at the exact same time slot as the Clemson-Syracuse game that I just talked about. Watch this game instead.
Right.
If you have CBS Sports Network, watch this game instead. 87% of the people are picking the Marshall Thundering Herd. Some say I'm a man of the people. And I agree with the people here. I'm going the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Man, I hate it because I got to make up some ground in these picks, but I'm taking Marshall as well. Number 24, San Diego State, 5-0. They're minus 8.5 on the road facing San Jose State. Well, speaking of the people, 95% of the people on San Diego State to cover that 8.5.
I'm going San Diego State. San Jose State is I looked at this. I think San Jose State is like 0-5 against the spread.
Yes.
That's bad.
Yes, that's the thing. This money line is closer than I would expect it to be. San Jose State is only plus 296. Very strange. Might be worth a little sprinkle, I suppose, but I don't think they're winning this game. I don't think they're covering. Give me San Diego State minus the 8.5.
Yeah, I'm going San Diego State.
The first action game, and boy, it's a shitty one. The 1-5 Ohio Bobcats travel to Buffalo to take on the whoever's. Buffalo minus 9.5. Who do you got?
First off, I also want to say we're 3 games in, and this is our first Saturday game.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm going the
All
Buffalo. The Buffalo whatevers they are.
What are they? Are they the Buffalo Buffaloes? I don't know.
I don't know. Buffalo. Football team. They're the Buffalo Bulls.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense. Jesus Christ. Give me Ohio plus the 9.5.
Bobcats are awful. I don't know why you're doing this.
Well, both of these teams are terrible. Buffalo's 2-4. Ohio's 1-5.
Fair enough.
In a team against two, or in a game against 2 bad teams, fuck it, give me the points.
Fair enough.
Some non-action. Number 10, Michigan State on the road, minus 3.5. Heading to a block of concrete in Bloomington, Indiana, to take on the Hoosiers. This might be our only Big Ten game of the week that we have in the picks. I don't even know.
Indiana's bad. I'm going Michigan State.
Spread's too tiny. Can't do it. Give me Michigan State. Give me the Spartans. This could get ugly real quick. I know Indiana's kind of gotten a rough deal. They've been in some games, but they've been in some games and haven't finished them. So they ain't gonna be within 4 points of MSU. Not gonna happen.
Negative.
Back to the action. Ball State on the road. They travel to what is it? Ypsilanti to take on Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
Ball State 3-3 against a 4-2 Eastern Michigan team. Ball State's minus 2.5.
Ball State sucks balls. Going Eastern Michigan. Going the Eastern Michigan Eagles, I think.
the lack of knowledge we have about these MAC teams. Good lord, all the teams that we threw into this. This is
I love it. I love it. I love me some
full
action.
Full transparency here. Before this was the Maction edition of the picks. This was the Shitfest edition of the picks because these are all terrible games. I can't even do it. I can't even take Ball State to be different. I gotta go with Eastern Michigan.
Ball State sucks balls.
They do. More action. Akron on the road, battle of 2 and 4 teams. They take on Miami, Ohio, battle of shitty Ohio teams. Miami, Ohio is minus 19.5, though.
These are probably two of the worst teams in the state of Ohio. Not just in college football in the state of Ohio, just two of the worst football teams in the state of Ohio.
Bishop Sycamore?
Bishop Sycamore, okay, Bishop Sycamore is probably the only team that's worse than these two teams just in all of football in Ohio.
Only because they don't exist.
Yeah.
They don't have an actual school.
Akron is awful, is terrible, is bad, is atrocious.
But
19.5 is a lot of points. I'm gonna say that right there. With that being said, I'm gonna take Miami of Ohio, who is a minus 1,258 favorite from money line. Well, here's the thing. Akron gives up 40 points a game. So
yes.
And Miami of Ohio is giving up just north of 22. So I'm going Miami of Ohio.
We're in that range because I checked those stats too. We're in that range of Akron going to cover.
Also,
to take it.
Fun fact, Akron is 1-4 against the spread.
I know. Believe me, I know. But I got to try something. I mean, can't be picking the same teams week in, week out. I got to make up some ground, man. College picks have been rough for me. But I'm taking Akron plus 19.5. A game broadcast on ESPN Plus, which is just a step ahead of Facebook Live. Troy minus 7.5 on the road. 95% of the people on Troy. They take on Texas State. Don't know what conference. I don't care.
I don't care. I'm going Troy because even though Troy is 1-4 against the spread, Troy is only giving up 18 points a game. Texas State is giving up 36.
Yep.
So, you're giving me 8 points. I'm going to take Troy.
Well, I'm not giving you 8 points.
Or
8 points
yeah.
is the danger zone.
Yeah.
But you are going to give me a full touchdown. So I can't pick Texas State. Stats won't allow me to do it. Give me Troy minus 7.5. Back to the action. Toledo on the road minus 4.5. They take on the Central Michigan Chippewas. Both teams 3-3. Say it.
Fire up Chips. The whole city of Toledo fucking sucks. Just, it sucks. I'm going Central Michigan. Fire up Chips.
I wish I could pick against you. I can't. 3-3 teams. The people are really spread out on this. Central Michigan's played some teams really tough. Give me the Chippewas. Action again. Kent State on the road. They travel to Western Michigan. Well, the people are spread out on this one. 94% of the people taking Western Michigan minus 6.5.
PJ Fleck isn't there, but row the boat anyway. Western Michigan Broncos down in Kalamazoo. They make good beer there in Kalamazoo. That's really all I know about that city. I'm going Western Michigan.
Damn it, I am too. WMU minus 6.5. Oh, it's not the only Big Ten game on the schedule. Michigan State and Iowa, or not Iowa, Indiana. Purdue on the road, taking on the number 2 team in the country, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa minus 11.5. Kind of a tiny spread for the number 2 team in the country, don't you think?
This is a tiny spread for the number 2 team in the country. Because, well, their offense looked kind of booty last week.
Pedestrian.
The pedestrian boot, yeah. A lot of things. Do you want to know what is ass?
Purdue.
Yes. I'm going with Iowa. I can't pick Purdue.
Can't either. Fucking, I hate it, but I can't. Probably going to be a tight one, though, but
yeah.
I can't pick. Probably 2 touchdowns. Enough to cover. Back to the action. And I believe our last bit of action. Bowling Green on the road, taking on Northern Illinois at Rocky Lombardi. Northern Illinois, they're minus 9.5 at home. 89% of the people on the 4-2 Huskies, I think.
Some people would say I'm a man of the people. I would disagree with them here. 9.5 is an odd number. Meaning...
It's a testy number.
Yeah.
They're trying to get you.
Also, Northern Illinois has Rocky Lombardi, who somehow he's led them to a 4-2 season. This game's on ESPN Plus, meaning it's just, again, as Jordan said, marginally better than Facebook Live.
The games are broadcast on Facebook Live. In fact, the fact that we pick games that are on Facebook Live is just a testament to how ridiculous these college picks have been.
These past few weeks. I'm going Bowling Green. 9.5 just is a difficult number, and then you throw Rocky Lombardi in there, who's...
Right. Yeah, this is where we differ. I'm going to go with Northern Illinois minus 9.5. I think Bowling Green's just really, really bad. More bad than Bowling Green is bad. So give me the Huskies.
Okay, fair.
One of our favorite games to pick on the college slates. Liberty!
It's going to be so sad when they finally have a bye week.
I mean, that's how I feel about Coastal Carolina having a bye.
Right.
Liberty on the road, minus 32.5. They take on Rich Rodriguez, the OC in Louisiana Monroe. Who do you got from the shit dome? I don't know what the stadium in Louisiana Monroe is. It probably holds 10,000 people.
Give me Liberty or give me death. Fun fact. Fun fact. Apparently, there is no against the spread record for for Liberty right now. Louisiana Monroe with Rich Rod as their OC as 1-3. Also, fun fact: you were making $0 off of this if you bet money line, because apparently, according to CBS, Liberty is a minus 10K favorite. Some stats. Liberty gains 400.
Don't bet Liberty money line. For the love of all that is holy, if you were throwing Liberty money line in anything, you deserve to lose.
Yes. Fun facts real quick.
And you'll win, but you deserve to lose because you're dumb. You're not gaining anything by betting it.
Fun fact, Liberty has a 445 yards per game. That number's probably going to go up because Louisiana Monroe gives up 470. Give me Liberty or give me death. Get Rich Rod out of here. Hammer Liberty on the cover the spread.
This has 63-3 written all over it.
Oh God, I know. It's gonna be so bad.
Like, this has fucking Liberty. No question. No question about it.
There's nothing you could say about it.
The only SEC game of the week now.
In the picks.
5-1. Yeah, in the picks. The 5-1
add that in.
Alabama Crimson Tide, now ranked number 5 in the country after the loss to Texas A&M. They are minus 15.5 on the road against Mississippi State. What do you say about the now defeated Alabama Crimson Tide?
Well, Mississippi State beat Texas A&M.
They sure did.
Alabama's going to win by a buck. Give me Alabama. This game's going to be ugly. It's not going to be close. Alabama's going to roll over Mississippi State. It is going to be so ugly. Like, they may as well have a running clock for this game. It's going to be bad.
Just get it over with as soon as possible.
Yeah, a buck.
I can't pick Mississippi State. Bama bounce back game.
Spread up.
Nick Saban's pissed.
Up.
Fucking.
Give me a bigger spread.
Give me Bama. Well, a shitfest on the CBS Sports Network. 10:30 p.m. on Saturday. The Hawaii whatevers.
Rainbow Warriors.
Travel to Nevada to take on the Nevada whatevers.
That one I don't have an answer for. Give me Nevada. I don't know why. Spread's 15.5, but duh.
I don't even know. Fucking
Hawaii's quarterback Siobhan Cotto is possibly going to be out. There we go. Give me Nevada.
I don't know what to do with this game. Don't know why I included it. Fucking give me Hawaii just to give me another chance. About halfway through the college season, I need to do something. Come on, CBS. Let's go. Let's load the NFL picks. We got a podcast to do. There we go. Unable to load picks data in this pool. Yeah, you did anyway.
Fuck.
Full disclosure, I goofed up. I didn't pick the Thursday night game. Did you?
I did. I picked Tampa.
And that was plus 6.5, which means they did not cover.
Pants.
Which means I didn't lose anything out on not picking this game. L's for both of us for differing reasons. So we'll move on. Podcast later in the week than usual via circumstances. So we'll move on. We got another London game. And this is with teams both from the state of Florida. Trevor Lawrence has no idea why we're even playing this game. The 1-4 Miami Dolphins are technically the road team against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a massive London fan base, apparently. Jaguars plus 3.5.
The Jaguars go to London a lot. I don't know why.
Every fucking year, it seems.
It seems like Miami, both Miami and Jacksonville get sent there a lot. First off, I'm going to apologize to the city of London a second time in this show. Sorry you have to watch.
Fucking year, man.
Sorry you have to watch a shit fest.
They get the worst games.
You have to watch 2 shit fests in a row. I apologize.
It's like they just throw the worst games over in London, and they're like, "Oh, this is the London people will appreciate this. It's something that they're not exposed to very often. American football."
And give them the 2 worst games.
They won't know that these games suck massive ass.
Confirmed.
There we go.
I'm trying not to laugh. I have not picked the team that has lost to the Cincinnati Bengals at all this year. That changes now. I'm going Jacksonville.
What? Can't do it. Tua's back.
Even with Tua back, I just don't think this Miami team is very good.
Tua, as far as I know, that spread and the people don't seem to be with me, but I think Tua's back. Give me the Dolphins. Well, we're going to knock out both of our teams here in one game. Our teams play each other.
Also,
Cincinnati Bengals, they're on the road. They travel to Ford Field to take on the 0-5 Detroit Football Lions. Lions plus 3.5.
After today, the Bengals don't have to play an NFC North team for, a while. Or Sunday, I mean. Tickets for this game are a whole $39 for anyone in the Detroit area.
More than a lot of shitty teams.
Yeah.
Secondary ticket prices. I will say, Lions fans are showing out.
Yeah. I'm going the Bengals. The Lions aren't good. The Bengals are slightly better.
Tiny spread, but give me the Lions. Probably going to lose on a last-second 50-plus yard field goal again. So, hey, we'd cover at that rate.
There you go.
Green Bay Packers, they're 4-1 NFC North game. They travel to Soldier Field in Chicago to take on the Bears. Who the hell knows what's going on with them? Bears plus 4.5.
Tickets for this game are going for $216. Apparently.
Why?
I don't know why. Give me the Packers. Justin Fields is looking better now that he's been named the permanent starter for the team, but it's just the rest of the team kind of looks fart noise.
He's still going to die behind that Bears offensive line. Give me the Packers.
Yep.
Battle of 1-4 teams. Unfortunately, the Colts are 1-4. They're at home. They take on the Houston Texans. Colts are minus 5.5. Oh, boy.
It says 9.5 for me.
What did I say?
5.5?
It's 9.5. I lied. I was looking at the Bears.
Continuing some just random irrelevant information. Tickets for this game are $24 if you're in the Indianapolis area.
I told you. Lions fans show out.
Wow.
What do you got on this one?
The Colts are bad. I think Houston's gonna lose, but they're gonna cover. So give me Houston.
Can't disagree with you at this point. Give me the Texans. They played the Patriots tough. Patriots and Colts are kind of in a similar situation, with talent in some places, but just haven't been able to put it together. Give me the Houston Texans and fucking Davis Mills. God, whoever thought I would say that.
Right.
Kansas City Chiefs, they're on the road, and they're under 500. They're 2-3. They take on the Washington football team and all their shit show that's going on. Football team plus 6.5.
Chiefs are going to cover.
Whoa.
Give me the Chiefs.
As a bold statement, Chiefs don't cover often.
Give me the Chiefs.
Can't disagree with you. I really can't. Like, fucking Washington's just kind of skated around. You're going to give me a touchdown with the Chiefs? That's Kansas City's better than Washington, no doubt. Really good game coming up here. The LA Chargers, 4-1. They're on the road going to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Baltimore is minus 3.5. Oh boy. Probably the game of the week, and it's, for whatever reason, on the 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah, which is dumb. This could be the game that tests my my belief that Baltimore is the best team in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I'm gonna keep riding them though.
Can't do it. I love the LA Chargers. Minus 3.5, and more fittingly, 69% of the people are on the LA Chargers, which is nice. Give me the Chargers. Another LA team, the Rams, they're on the road to take on the New York Football Giants. Giants plus 10.5. No 69% of the people number this time, which is not nice. Who do you got?
The Giants are terrible. They're gonna lose by a lot. I'm going Rams.
Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley banged up. Rams by 1 billion. Minnesota Vikings fresh off the big 50-plus yard field goal to beat the Lions. Both teams 2-3 in this one. They travel to take on the Carolina Panthers. Panthers minus 1.5 because Vegas doesn't know, just like we don't fucking know.
This game's essentially a toss-up.
Pretty much.
Give me Carolina. Minnesota's not good. Carolina's not great. Why is this game a thing? But give me Carolina.
I don't know. I'm gonna ride Kirk Cousins. He's had a great year so far. Give me Kirk Cousins. Hopefully Dalvin Cook's healthy to play. I don't know if he is. I haven't checked his status at all, but give me the Vikings. Undefeated Arizona Cardinals. Could be a good game here. They travel to First Energy Stadium.
I would say.
Came to me to take on the Cleveland Browns. Browns? Am I seeing this right? -2.5?
Yes, you are.
Huh?
Yeah. Game's gonna be good. Game's gonna be tight. However, I'm gonna go Arizona.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I guess give me the Browns. Fuck it. I don't know. I don't know. They scored a lot of points last week. Fuck it. All right with the Brownies. See what happens. I'm gonna live to regret that one. The 4-1 Dallas Cowboys looking like one of the best teams in the NFC. They're on the road to take on the New England Patriots. Patriots +4.5.
Give me Dallas.
Spread. Yeah, I can't. I can't with the Patriots. I can't with Mac Jones. Dude can't throw the football past 5 yards. Or at least Bill Belichick doesn't think that he can throw the football past 5 yards because that's all they design plays for him.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh boy. A AFC West shit fest with the LA Raiders, or not the LA Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos. Broncos -3.5.
The Raiders got problems. I'm going Denver. Like, there's just too much going on around the Raiders right now. I'm going Denver.
I am going with the Raiders because interim head coaches yield results. Raiders were good first 3 weeks of the season. Denver, I think, was fraudy good. You know, they beat 3 shitty teams to get to their 3-2 record. Give me the Raiders. Can't believe I'm doing it. Sunday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams 2-3. Steelers -4.5. 65% of the people on Pittsburgh. People ain't believing in Geno Smith.
Yeah, I've only picked one team that has lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, and it was on this episode. On this very episode right here, right now.
Will it happen again?
Yes.
Oh!
I'm going Pittsburgh. I don't know if we can with Geno Smith.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh as well. Simply because I don't know what Geno Smith's going to do. He proves us wrong. He covers. Great for him. Great for the Seahawks. Can't do it until he proves me something. In a full game. Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills. 4-1. Can't believe they're 4-1. I think they're the best team in the AFC. I swear. They're on the road. They take on the Tennessee Titans. Titans +5.5.
5.5.
Who do you got in this one?
This Titans team is just so weird. I want to take Tennessee. I want to take Tennessee, but I can't because I just don't know what I'm going to get out of this Titans team. Give me Buffalo.
A couple weeks ago, I might have taken Tennessee. Can't do it. Give me Buffalo. Easy. Those
are the picks. Now, as we get towards the end of the show, let's go with Champ and Chump of the Week. Is it fair to say we both have the same Chump of the Week?
It's easy. It's easy.
So we're going to do...
Not even in question.
We're going to do our Chump first, then, I guess.
Chump and Champ.
Yeah, Chump of the Week is Jon Gruden. Like...
I mean, we've already been over it. I mean, we're doubling down on it, but, like, Jesus Christ. Dude's a mess. Dude's a fraud. Shitty human. Shitty coach.
I said it, and I'm just going to reiterate what I said at the top of the show, because we've been going for way longer than I thought we would, but Just all
yeah,
of
we rambled a little bit.
Everything to unpack with the Gruden scenario kind of did that to us.
Yep.
I said it last week that Urban Meyer would have been Chump of the Week if it wasn't for College Football Playoff Committee chairman.
Gruden ain't got nothing saving him.
No. Gruden has nothing to save him. Urban, what I said earlier today, Urban did something that, in my opinion, was wrong. However, nothing that he did, like everything that he did with that, or whatever he did with that college woman, was consensual. Appeared to be consensual, and
very much so.
Was legal. That does not make it morally right. Still makes what he did indefensible, but there is still coming back from it for Urban Meyer. At least in my opinion. I think what had the Urban Meyer scenario, what happened with him, there is coming back from it. What Jon Gruden did, there's no coming back from.
I mean, he'll never hold an NFL job again.
He might not. He'll never hold a media job again, I don't think.
He might as well disappear.
At least a sports media job.
Ooh, breaking score, I suppose. The Dodgers take a 2-1 lead over the Giants in the top of the 9th inning. Cody Bellinger, who's had a terrible year, with a single to score. Justin Turner, Gavin Lux to third. Dodgers looking to be moving on, but still a bottom of the 9th to go for San Francisco.
Yep. Okay, so now that we both, do you have anything to say about Jon Gruden for your Chump of the Week portion?
We covered it.
Yeah,
piece of shit human, shit coach, shit person.
There's no, as I said, no coming back. Champ of the week. So. Do you want to take your champ first, or you want me to take mine?
I will go with mine. My champ of the week, and both of my contenders for champ of the week were both NASCAR related. And Kyle Larson was a close second after battling back from the, having to change an alternator belt mid-race and coming back to win it. But my champ of the week is going to be Chase Elliott for being taken out by Kevin Harvick. Back end of the car, into the wall, messes up the entire rear of the car. You know that car didn't drive well the entire rest of the race. Still battled back through everything to advance to the next round of the playoffs, even when it seemed all hope was lost. I mean, road race Chase at it again, man. This dude loves road courses, and even with an absolutely banged up car, broken track bar, broken everything on the rear end of that car, especially on the right side, still was able to get it done and advance into the next round of the chase. And the big Napa logo on his hood, intimidating Kevin Harvick, and Kevin Harvick literally shitting his pants and driving into the Tums Heartburn turn.
My champ of the week. This is going to be odd for a lot of people.
Oh, boy.
Because a few weeks ago, this man was my chump of the week.
Here, insert me thinking about who this could be.
Yeah, I'm going to let this hold for 1 second. Okay. My champ of the week is former, partially demoted Ohio State defensive coordinator, now Ohio State defensive backs coach, Kerry Coombs. A few weeks ago, on I believe it was episode 3, maybe 2 or 3.
Sounds about right.
2.
I would say
2. No, 3.
I think it's 3 because the first one was college football preview, right?
Yep, 3.
Yep.
Because that happened before week 1 of the season officially happened.
Yes.
Well, the first Saturday at least. In episode 3, I had Kerry Coombs as my chump of the week because that Ohio State offense looked terrible, and then after the Ohio State defense looked fucking atrocious. And then after the Tulsa game, because he had one of the 3 worst defenses, or he was the defensive coordinator of one of the 3 worst defenses in the country, he got demoted. Got sent up to the press box. He got demoted. This man and I myself, along with so many other Ohio State fans, said a lot of not great things about him.
Up until this week, your Twitter name was Fire Kerry Coombs.
I changed it to Don't Fire Kerry Coombs.
I noticed that.
He has proven me wrong. He's just proven me so wrong that, and one of the things that I said on this podcast was that he's not a leader of men. He's not a leader of young men. He can't get these young men to do what they need to do. Everything that he has said and done, especially this past week, because this is Ohio State's bye week, so pretty much everybody's meeting with the media, has just proven me wrong that this man is a phenomenal leader of young men. And then the fact that he stepped back for the betterment of this team. He set his pride and his ego aside to step back and help this team, help this Ohio State Buckeyes team reach their goals. And he said that in his interview, he said he could have easily just quit and said, you know what, no, I'm done. He said he chose not to because it would have made him a liar to every young man he has ever taught and coached. It would have made him a liar to himself and every single player and young man he has taught and coached in his time as a coach, whether it be in the NFL or in college. Prove me wrong. I thought this man was not fit to be a defensive coordinator at Ohio State. I thought the only possible reason you could have kept him around is because he's a very good recruiter. But everything he's done this past couple of weeks has proven me wrong so egregiously that he is my champ of the week. And I don't necessarily know if he's a fit to be a defensive coordinator, but he needs to be involved with this team somehow, with this Ohio State team somehow. And most importantly, he wants to be there still. Which, find me somebody who gets demoted at their job and still wants to be there.
I mean, rare occurrence.
It is. So Kerry Coombs is my champ of the week. Chump of the week is, well, Jon Gruden, because we already talked about it. Let's move on to one for the road.
It was always Jon Gruden.
Yeah.
One for the road for me is fairly simple, and that is Chargers-Ravens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward through some Saturday slate games first.
Chargers-Ravens is going to determine who I think the second best team in the AFC is. Because right now I think Chargers are number 3, and Ravens are number 2. So we got a great game in the AFC this week. Will it determine much in the long run? No. Because I think both of these teams are playoff bound. I got the Chargers in it, but
okay.
We'll see.
So I'm going to go with a game on Saturday.
Oh boy.
Solely because
in a week full of shit-fest games and most of the good teams on buys.
Yes. I'm going to say that I'm taking this game because on my short that I did earlier this week, my top 25 short that I did for the House Divided podcast audio sources in YouTube, I had Oklahoma State at hold that thought. I gotta go back and look at where I had Oklahoma State. I had Oklahoma State at 12, solely because they had a bye and we didn't see them this past week.
Yep.
I, however, said that no matter what Oklahoma does with quarterback, whether it be Spencer Rattler, which it looks like it probably won't be, or Caleb Williams, Oklahoma State has a legitimate chance of beating Oklahoma.
Could be.
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma's looked beatable all year.
Oklahoma State has to go into Austin to play the Texas Longhorns. Texas is a 4-point favorite. This is a noon kickoff on Fox, which means you're probably going to get Gus Johnson as well.
Maybe.
I don't know what other game they would have them calling this week.
He's been on a lot of Big Ten games recently, so I wouldn't be shocked if they threw him on a Big 12 one here.
Let's say, like, there is no other. Like, there's basically nothing on Fox.
Michigan State, Indiana. I don't know.
Fox Sports 1. That's not happening.
It could, I suppose.
So that's my one for the road, just to see how good Oklahoma actually is. Give my one for the road, Oklahoma State at Texas on Saturday at noon. And that right there is wrong button.
Man, the Dodgers are bringing in Max Scherzer to pitch the bottom of the ninth.
Ooh, that right there is the House Divided Podcast, episode 7 here of season 5. I don't really have much of an outro. This episode went longer than I thought because we had a lot to break down at points.
Because we both hate Jon Gruden as a human being. And that took a little while, and there were a bunch of stupid people on the internet.
Yeah. Next week, I'm assuming we're gonna shoot for going back to Wednesday. I don't think we have anything special going on next week.
Wednesday's good. I don't have a birthday to quote unquote celebrate, aka fall asleep at 9 p.m. or potentially earlier. I don't know what time I passed out.
Next week, I at least am gonna try and keep. Hopefully, I want to try and keep it shorter because the following week we have Caleb coming on the week of the Michigan State game, so it'll probably be Wednesday the 27th. We'll have Caleb on.
Both teams looking like they're gonna be undefeated heading into that game. It's gonna be a fucking crazy week, crazy game.
Other than that, I have one other little piece of housekeeping. For anyone that wanted an NBA preview, here's your NBA preview. It starts next week. That's it.
Yeah, we're not NBA guys, generally. I pay attention loosely, but can't do it. Can't do a team-by-team NBA preview. We've never been an NBA podcast. We cover it very, very briefly.
Like that's your NBA preview right there.
If we did an NBA preview, it would just be a disservice to the NBA. I mean, we we are not huge NBA fans. I am excited for the Pistons. I'll say that. I'm more so excited for their future. Cade Cunningham looks to be a dude. Been really impressed with the moves that Troy Weaver's made since he's been the GM of the Pistons. But other than that, I really don't give a shit about the NBA or what happens. I just want the best for the Pistons.
I have no reason to watch the NBA. So,
well, as a Cavs fan,
there is
you
literally
probably don't.
Like they're not going to be good this year. There's no promise, nothing. If anyone,
we won't be either. But a lot of young guys. I mean, fuck. We'll see if Luka Garza translates to the NBA with the Pistons. I did not want Luka Garza to start off with, but I mean, he was one of the best players in college. I didn't think he'd translate well to the NBA. We'll see if he does. Could be a dude, could not be.
Yeah. Lastly, if there's anything that you want us to talk about in relation to the NBA or really anything sports related, you can hit us up on Twitter at the House Divided Podcast or HD Podcast _. My Twitter is Werewolf FPS, I think.
That's another thing that I thought that I can't remember to do, seemingly, is put our social media links on a graphic so we can use that as like an outro screen.
And
I'll
Jordan,
have it ready for next week. Pressure me to do it.
Jordan's is at Twitchy Niche. There you go. That is the outro. Jordan, do you have anything to say that we did not cover in the episode or just stuff to wrap up the show?
Bye weeks suck, and if you can't see the fine print, it says asterisk, but not as much as the Lions.
The fine print is actually kind of legible. Yeah, bye weeks do suck.
They suck because neither one of us have reason to watch college football this week. We're gonna have to find some nonsense games.
Yeah. With that being said, everybody, that is the show. Thank you for making us a part of your night. We will see you all next week. Until then, have a good time watching hockey, watching
hockey's back,
football.
Baby. I know my Red Wings blew a lead tonight, but God,
watching football. I think tonight's the only postseason baseball game, and then we go into a couple-day break.
Yeah, we'll probably have a night or two off, and then we'll move into the NL and AL championship series. Dodgers looking good, man.
So
man, the Giants bandwagon, it might already be dead.
So with that being said, everybody, thank you for making us part of your night. Peace out and stay classy. See ya.